Welcome to SicEm365 Radio.
Looking to the end zone. He's got him in. Touchdown.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Tuckman leading it off, and that one out to left field, and a diving catch by Chris Davis. Wow.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Flagler, oh goodness, all nine line.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go. This Wednesday afternoon, Baylor, Nikki Collin with their first hire of part of her main coaching staff. Of course, Jeremy Hefner, who's a part of athletics performance for women's basketball, also basically strength and conditioning. Yesterday was retained and hired to her staff. And today, just coming down most recently, the first addition to her staff, Tari Cummings, who leaves the head coaching job at Arkansas Fort Smith to join Baylor. She's also been at Cincinnati, Houston, Arkansas, Tulsa, and so what you can get out of that, and she's going to join us in about an hour at 4 o'clock. Tari Cummings most likely has been recruiting the South, has been a head coach, and joins Nikki Collins' staff. There's a couple of other notes to get to today. The NFL schedule's out as far as a lot of it. The Cowboys open up against the Buccaneers. Craig Smoak is on Skype today. Paul Catalina with me in studio.
Yeah, it's, getting the ball rolling, hire, day one, day two, do new hires, and then she'll have that staff fill up pretty quick. I would say by the end of the beginning of next week, she'll probably have everybody she wants in tow. That matters on the upper level.
And I was concerned about this in Kyle Robards. It's Tari Cummings, the new assistant coach with Nikki Collin among others as well. And I think, Craig, what you're going to see is a slow drip like we saw with Jeremy Hefner retained as the strength and conditioning athletic performance. Tari Cummings, who's got head coaching experience, plus around the South. And I just think you're going to probably see a slow drip, the release of those on staff. And even eventually, I think you'll see them release the roster of everybody who's staying, if anybody else besides Hannah Gusters and perhaps Moon Urson might move on.
Yeah, I think we know Moon's moving on. Just a matter of time before she announces where she's going. I think that's become clear as day. You wouldn't put your name in the transfer portal if you didn't have the intention of leaving. And Moon, with what she's done at Baylor, has no reason to put her name in there unless she's leaving. So, I'm sure we'll get, an updated roster. But, look at any staff that's hired. They don't announce it all at once. It's always a slow drip. Dave Aranda had a slow drip twice, to hire the initial staff and then to hire the second round of the staff when he had to replace half the staff after 1 year. So for her brand new, coaching staff being put together, being back in college basketball, it's going to be a process. It's going to take a little while for each domino to drop. But, here we are. We're a week into her being announced, and we've got the strength and conditioning side is taken care of. And now one domino on the assistant coaching staff that'll be sitting next to her on the bench has been announced as well. So excited to see who the remainder will be.
All right. Also, one thing about Tari Cummings, again, most recently has been the head coach at Arkansas Fort Smith. That is where she received, she was an All-American, a junior college All-American at Arkansas Fort Smith, played at Oklahoma State, all Big 12. She got her bachelor's degree from Oklahoma State, her associate of arts degree, junior college degree at Arkansas Fort Smith. Her first 4 jobs were all as assistant coach recruiting coordinator. And then eventually a head coach. As I mentioned, she was at Tulsa, then a head coach at Arkansas Fort Smith, the junior college. And she played, again, throughout, if you look around of where she has been in her college career. So Nikki Collin not wasting any time, making these decisions. Jeremy Hefner will join us today at 4:30. And that's one that's so important to me because of the fact he knows the girls who are there, the young ladies who are there on that roster, and they know him as well. And now, who knows? And I don't know the regionality, but Arkansas Fort Smith, and she's been else in that area. They have a young lady, a senior at a high school in Arkansas, Miriam Dowda, who signed with Baylor. And there's been no decision, or I have not heard anything about what she's doing, but you wonder if that also has something to do with that as well.
Well, Nikki Collin was in Arkansas for a good long while, too, so she knows the lay of the land there. And, I'm not surprised that the first coach is from Arkansas, and just given the fact that, Nikki and her husband, Tom, coached there for a long, long time. So that's where, maybe the meat of your coaching staff might come from, because that's where you were from.
Now, Colt Barber's going to join us here momentarily about some nuggets he dropped in the premium section. You could always, if you're not a premium section member, join the premium section. It's very inexpensive. You can be a part of that and get so many things. It's so much going on right now. Like, for example, earlier today, J.D. PicKell dropped like a 10 or 11-minute thought about football and where they're going to be when it comes to the conference and can they compete for a Big 12 title. Craig had the Mac Rhodes summary up late last night and into the day, plus much more, including some of the podcasts that we have and other stories that Grayson writes. Plus, Grayson and Craig dropped their podcast. That came out yesterday as well. Now, Jeremy Hefner today. So Colt Barber, then Taylor Young, who's now a part of the North Texas staff under Seth Luttrell and Phil Bennett. Then we'll have Tari Cummings, and then also Jeremy Hefner, John Machota, and Rangers president of baseball operations, John Daniels, today at 5:30. So here's a question I have for you. There's no way you could have anything other than Tampa Bay and the Cowboys, right? That's the only way to start the year. Was there a better? Could it have been New England and Tampa Bay? Well, is there a better Kansas City and Tampa Bay?
But if they're not in the rotation, you can't just throw it in there. But if you look at both teams' opponents for the first week, yes, it's great. And I know Craig probably shares this sentiment. I'm once again glad it's not the damn Giants and the Cowboys
I agree.
Playing in week one, which the NFL did like 6 years in a row.
It seemed like they did it, if not 6 in a row, it seemed like it was about 12 of 14. Craig, your thoughts about the Buccaneers at home on a Thursday night opening up against the Cowboys?
Well, the Cowboys are lucky they're still popular, and it's not based on actual results. It's 20 years they get, the opening weekend game, the big spotlight, and I don't really know exactly what they've done to deserve it other than just being popular. So it's good to be popular, even if you're not very good. I'll say the Cowboys have been consistent. They've been 8-8 or better consistent for a while now. They bring eyeballs. They're going to be, exciting to, think of, in terms of next year because of the Dak contract situation now being out of the way, him coming off the injury. The offense is pretty well loaded, but obviously they had defensive questions. So, I think this is going to be a very interesting year for the Cowboys. It's a great opponent to start off, and I'm glad to see it, much more so than Cowboys-Giants. But there are other matchups that would have been better. I mean, Tampa Bay, Kansas City, like Paul said, would be a much better matchup than Dallas. And you throw the Ravens in there versus Kansas City. That's a better game. Throw Tampa Bay and the Ravens in there. I think that's a better game. I mean, Packers and Bucks is a better game. So, it speaks to the popularity of the Dallas Cowboys and the fact that even though they haven't won a Super Bowl in 20-something years, that so many people still grew up, just looking at that star and wanting to wear it themselves or had family members that grew up Cowboys fans. I mean, it just goes to show you the staying power of that brand. So I'm excited to see it. I think it'll be fun. And, if they win that game, then all hell will break loose and they're bound for the Super Bowl. And if they lose that game, all hell will break loose and it's, same old, same old. So excited to see it.
The rest of the schedule comes out tonight at 7 o'clock Central Time. And some of the schedule has leaked. The Cowboys are playing the Raiders, I think, on Thanksgiving Day. Paul, go ahead.
I'm curious to see Trayvon Diggs against Mike Evans. And, welcome to the new defense with Dan Quinn. Yeah. Here you've got the Bucs, who have every single person on that offense back and the greatest quarterback who's ever breathed. They're playing. And, that's going to be – I'm kind of looking forward to the, oh, dear God, this team is so bad from the Dallas fans that'll come after week one when most anyone's going to lose to the Super Bowl champion in week one. I mean, most anyone does all the time.
Or they win and it's a total mirage and it's just, hey, it was the first game of the year and we blow the expectations out of proportion. Or they win and maybe they're actually good. Maybe that's actually the start to a real legitimate run to the playoffs. Time will tell. A lot has to happen with that defense. But I will say my biggest complaint, looking at the schedule of what little pieces I've seen, and I think it was Pick Six Previews that maybe pointed this out, but the Jaguars are not a very popular team. They're not getting picked to be, the opening weekend prize team on like the Cowboys are every year. They have a hard enough time just drawing people to their stadium. Now they got Trevor Lawrence, and they welcome in the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa. You get Trevor Lawrence versus Tua. You got Miami versus Jacksonville right there on the east coast of Florida together, and they're throwing it in London. They're playing that game in London. It's two Florida teams with the two quarterbacks who faced off like 2-3 years ago for a national title, and they're playing the game in London. That just makes no sense to me whatsoever. I'd be pissed if I was a Jaguars fan. So that's my big complaint from what I've seen of the schedule so far.
Yeah, and by the way, there's some pretty good first week games. Steelers at Bills, Seahawks at Colts. So some of those games that could be Browns at Chiefs. Of course, there's a game that will be of interest as well. But there's a few others. But Packers at Saints, who knows if Aaron Rodgers is a part of that or not. Chargers at Washington. A pretty interesting start for that great quarterback, the young quarterback that the Chargers have. Bears at Rams is Sunday night, with Cowboys in Tampa Bay open up on Thursday. Raiders and Ravens on Monday night. Now, you know what? It's interesting. Andy Thomas has won numerous national weekly awards this week. Baylor's Andy Thomas, yet he was not the Big 12 Player of the Week. Now, that doesn't mean they're wrong, but it's interesting. The latest award that he won was the Bobby Bragan Player of the Week, announced to the best player slugger in college baseball over the week. Ty Washington, later tonight, about 8 o'clock Central. Young man from Arizona, the high school star, will make his decision. There was a thought Baylor at one point was in that mix. Of course, they've now picked up more since that time, a couple of transfers. He's down to either Arizona, Kansas, Kentucky, and LSU. All right, so I have to say this. What do Arizona, besides being at some point pretty good in basketball, and LSU's better, Will Wade, Arizona, what's happened with them?
Well, it's Adidas. I mean, Arizona, Kansas, LSU, Adidas.
LSU.
Yeah, Adidas.
And then Kentucky.
Well, they're Nike, so.
They're okay with Calipari, but nothing's changed. He's the number 12 overall prospect according to ESPN.
Calipari's never going to get caught doing anything.
Did he ever get anything at Memphis? Was he? Would they take
he had it's like he walks to a safe and goes, "Oh, here you go." Yeah. That's what. Here's my smoking gun for the. Yeah. Why it's not me. That's what Calipari does.
All right, we're going to break here, come back with Colt Barber. Then we have Taylor Young. I can't wait to talk to Taylor. So many of you are thrilled for him. He was hired to be the defensive quality control assistant on Seth Luttrell's staff at North Texas, and Phil Bennett had a bunch to do with that. I spoke with Coach Bennett earlier today about Taylor. All sorts of great stories with that. And then at 4 o'clock, Tari Cummings will join us, a part of Baylor staff now with Nikki Collin. And then Jeremy Hefner, John Machota, and Rangers President of Baseball Operations, John Daniels, SicEm365 Radio. I don't know what you're going to have for dinner this weekend or what you're going to have for dinner tonight, but whatever you need when it comes to beef, pork, poultry, and also seafood, you can get it with great pricing and also incredible customer service at Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. I love their bone-in ribeyes. They have 3 different types of the quality of meat, the one that you have. I mean, they select whatever, prime, they got it. But I like about 1.25 inches at least thick bone-in ribeye. No matter how I cook it, whether I sear it and then I put it in the oven as a reverse sear, whether I put it on the grill, whether I maybe even stick it in something like a crock pot and just let it whatever I do with this bone-in ribeye is amazing, because they have the best when it comes to quality USDA beef. Beef, pork, poultry, and seafood at Waco Custom Marketplace at 425 Lake Air Drive. And they will customize your order. It's Wednesday. It's just after 3 o'clock. If you want live crawfish this weekend, they have 30-pound sacks of live crawfish at $4.25 a pound. And you order by 6 o'clock tonight. So call them or drop by. How many sacks you want of 30 pounds each. And you can have your live crawfish available anytime Friday after 2 or anytime they're open. It's a store open hours on Saturday. Live crawfish, 30-pound sacks. You order how many you want, but you got to do it by 6 to pick it up on Friday after 2 or sometime on Saturday when they're open. And also on top of that, the bakery with fresh baked kolaches and bread every day. The sweets, the treats, they have seasoning, sauces, they have all of what you need. And even if you want, like, for example, saltine crackers or Rotel tomatoes, that kind of grocery store feeling in the old-fashioned way with great customer service and product at 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco, CustomMarketplace.com.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Samuels is celebrating Jeep Freedom Days. It's an exciting time for a new Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo with up to $3,750 in values or 0% for 72 months. The new Jeep Cherokee Laredo is built tough, and with the Jeep Freedom Days going on now, it's a great time for a new Jeep SUV. Alan Samuels, the award-winning customer service Central Texas dealer. The best place to get your next SUV. Located at 201 West Loop 340, Alan Samuels is your friend in the car business.
Come by, let's be friends.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma. And they have to come here. They're used to lights. They're used to water in their mouth. They're used to experience. They already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Parenting is full of surprises.
You never know what to expect.
So after our son was born, I called my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent to set up a life insurance policy in case something happened to me.
Sawyer is now 2.
And we'll soon have a sister. There's no one else I would trust with protecting my family.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Are you a SicEm365 super fan? Then try out our premium subscriptions at SicEm365.com.
All right, here we go. 3 o'clock hour. Taylor Young at the bottom of the hour. Tari Cummings, the newest addition to women's basketball staff, will join us at 4. Then also today at 4:30, Jeremy Hefner, plus much more. John Daniels at 5:30. Craig Smoak on Skype today. Paul Catalina, David Smoak. We're in studio here on SicEm365 Radio. Cole Barber in what is a constant, I mean, it's almost like a laundromat of clothing going inside all the washers and dryers. There's so much content being put in the premium section, pinned or not, and I know you can join it to be a part of it. And on occasion, there's so much in there. We want to share some of it with you, but also we'd love for you to become a premium member. Colt, you dropped a bunch of nuggets today in football. Obviously, to me, the one that is most important, and I've been told this as well, they need and they want to get some sort of transfer offensive lineman who's played college football somewhere, how much of a story will that be if they can get the kid from Buffalo?
Yeah, that's huge. And you, excuse me, you look at who they have targeted and where they have ended up, and you don't want to say they're striking out on their top targets. Like you don't know. We can talk to as many people as we want to. I think there's been some disappointment with guys that they have missed. But when you look at the Nowitzki, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He's a center for Buffalo. He's been in the portal. And he's getting attention from everywhere. And I think that they have all along have wanted him. And so you look at a guy like that, and you have Grant Miller and you have Xavier Newman. Well, at this point, you bring in who you can bring in, and if they're one of the best players, they're going to play. They're going to find a position for them to play. So maybe it's at one of the guard positions. Maybe Xavier Newman plays guard. Maybe Grant Miller plays guard. I think that they're just going to attempt to stockpile talent. And when you say you bring in one, you bring in one, but you bring in two or three, including Grant Miller, who would be the initial one. So maybe they end up with three transfer offensive linemen and then let the chips fall where they may, because they have to upgrade the offensive line talent. And the offense will be what it is, or will have a kind of a ceiling on it until that offensive line can improve, regardless of who the quarterback is. So getting one player in is a big deal. Getting one or two more at this point in the process going into the summer and fall camp is a major step forward. And what they've built and continue to build on defense. I think that's going to be the strength of the team. If they can get an offensive line that can give them a consistent running game, this team can be really dangerous. And maybe you don't expect to go out and compete for a Big 12 championship, but I think that you can be consistently competing in every single game if you can improve that offensive line to the point where the offense is consistent.
Colt, if say they do get the kid from Buffalo, would the third one maybe be a JUCO?
Yeah, the JUCO is such a tough situation this year because you have so many guys that just like the FCS that just got through playing in a spring season technically. Some guys that didn't play. You're looking at film that's relatively new. You're evaluating guys that are relatively new. I think if someone pops up that they feel like can contribute for multiple years, I think you have to take him, especially if they want to come. Now, it's kind of tricky because a transfer prospect like the Buffalo prospect or Grant Miller have 1 year, maybe 2 years because of COVID, and that's a good thing. You can kind of process them through the system. You don't want to take a junior college guy that potentially has 3 years left that could take up a scholarship when they don't end up competing for a starting position. Junior college transfers are always tricky because you just don't know how well they're going to contribute at the next level. Whereas a guy like Grant Miller, he has a baseline. He played in the SEC. He started for an SEC team, albeit it was with Vanderbilt, who's not relatively strong. But you just have to be careful with junior college guys. But I think if an offensive tackle pops up where they really need some help, I think it makes sense to take a risk because they're going to need depth. If it's not this year, it's going to be in the future where guys can develop. And I just don't know if there's one specific one on the radar right now that they're willing to take.
So, Colt, a few years ago, it was, with the offensive line, a lack of bodies, and then Matt Rule did the best he could to try and get them up scholarship-wise, which they did. So, clearly there were some talent misses there. Why is the offensive line still in the shape that it's in your opinion? Is it been more just evaluation misses, hoping guys would pan out that didn't pan out, or is it other factors as well?
Yeah, the three most important things in my mind that I'm looking to, one of them was on your show yesterday in Elliot Anderson at Sam Houston. That was a guy that the previous staff felt like was going to contribute. He did contribute early. He was going to contribute a lot. So you have him that leaves and is at Sam Houston. You have Prince Pines that made that, and the previous staff, they were expecting him to play a lot moving forward. So they're both out of the program. And then the third one is kind of the not as eye popping as those two departures, but Blake Bettier not taking advantage of a third year, and truthfully, it was just not getting to redshirt one of his first 2 years on campus. That was the key to his development, was being able to get in redshirt, even though they could play 4 games, redshirt, get that year back, and then play this year and be really productive this year. He never got to do that. So you take those 3 guys out of the system going into this year, and you're going to have a lot of trouble. Then you can talk about Elijah Hall, who's also at the SEC level now that is playing. you can't take in a program like Baylor or any program that's not Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama. You take 3 guys that you're expecting to contribute over the course of 2 or 3 years, and you remove them from the program. Those weren't just guys that they said that they could possibly be something. Those were guys that were already playing. And you take those out, and you're in a world of trouble because you just don't reload that quickly. And Matt Rule knew that because of the fact that he was recruiting more and more bodies. You just can't reload. You got to develop. And those are 3 guys that were looked at as being heavily relied upon, not just last year, but this year as well.
All right, so Cole, question for you. You know, we know what they have in the quarterback room, and it's almost like you wish you could take a little bit of each one of them and make them into one quarterback, but that's not going to happen. Who, in your opinion, based on what you think you'll see defensively with Baylor, under Dave Aranda, under Ron Roberts, and Joey McGuire, and all the others, it looks like they're going to be really, really good. I'm not sure if they'll be 2019 good, but they have that opportunity. With that being the case, who's the best fit, in your opinion, to run the offense for Baylor?
Is Grayson in the studio with y'all right now? By any chance?
No, he's not.
Okay, he will battle me tooth and nail on this, and we've had the discussion offline, so I don't mind talking about it. I think it's Gary Bohannon, and I lean that way because if Baylor can't find a running game, and we've seen it back to 2019 when Baylor was successful, they finally found a little bit of running game with the running back, but the primary ability to move the chains was with the quarterback running the football. And that was with Charlie Brewer, who stayed dinged up because he ran the football so much. And Gary Bohannon can run the football. And I know that we question and we have doubts and concerns about his ability to threaten defenses with his arm consistently and manipulate defenses with his arm. Well, what he can do is manipulate defense with legs. We know that 100% sure. Know that he can make defenses rely upon him. It's going to make windows a little bit bigger with this offense they're going to be running. We know he can push the ball vertically. Maybe he's not accurate. Maybe he's not as accurate as Jake Zeno, but he can push the ball vertically. So at this point, I have to go with Gary Bohannon because you want to give your defense rest. And if that's one additional first down drive every 2 drives, that's a big thing for a team last year who consistently could not stay on the field on offense. And as good as that defense was, they got worn down. We saw an Oklahoma State game where it was kind of all came to a head, and they just couldn't do anything on either side of the ball because that defense was worn out. And so I think if you put in Gary Bohannon at this point and you know what his strength is and you play to that strength, it makes the most sense. Now, Jacob Zeno could go out there, have a great fall camp. The offensive line protects him. He doesn't have to use his legs a lot to make plays. And he becomes a starter. I think he has that potential. I just think for this particular team at this moment, my opinion is Gary Bohannon makes the most sense.
Craig, you got anything?
Colt, I guess running back wise, what do you think of the situation they have right now?
Yeah, it's man, you can look at a lot of positions on the field for this team, specifically on defense. I think offensive line, maybe they don't have a lot of talent. We don't know a lot about the talent, but the bodies are there. Receiver, there are bodies there. That running back group, if Squirrel Williams is healthy, which it sounds like he will be for fall camp, I really like the way that group is shaping up. And that's primarily because of Abram Smith. If you go back and watch the BYU offense from last year and the way that those backs ran in that system, and then you go watch the spring game of Abram Smith, it is almost identical to what they did. And kind of believe it or not, the running back there for BYU was actually a converted linebacker, and he rushed for, I think, 12 or 1,300 yards last year. And it makes a lot. It's a downhill, one cut, runs with power. But he really takes that running back room to a bit more well-rounded group. John Lovett would have been perfect fit for this room, but I think Abram Smith can provide that same type of style. And then obviously, you're getting Treston Hefner and Squirrel Williams to be healthy. He's such a lightning bug. Like he can do so many different things with the football. You just such a good change pace. Those three as the top running backs in the room can do a lot of damage. But once again, it always comes down to the offensive line. How productive can that group be? How consistent? And how much can they gel? But you look at Squirrel Williams, how much better that offensive line looked last year whenever he played. That's just a testament to his talent and the way that he his style of play. And if he can be healthy, that's a key piece of that offense. He's a lot better than it was last year.
When you can get a freshman that can be good enough to start, it could be at any position, but obviously running back is one who can come in and make a pretty big impact. You've got Hefner, who's seasoned. Obviously what Abram Smith has brought to the table since, 2 or 3 weeks before their spring game. But what about Jordan Jenkins and what he brings? I know that he might need to marinate. He's a big kid. Seemed like he would fit in this offensive style with his size and power. You feel like he might get a few looks or not?
Yeah, I think he has to. And the reason that he has to is because he's going to be on the bench, and you don't have to be worrying about burning a red shirt. That four-game rule for a guy like Jordan Jenkins is massive, because you can say, man, is he ready? We don't know if he's ready, but you have 4 games to find out if he's ready. And that will really depend on fall camp as well. The staff could say he is not ready to do this yet, and we know that he's not. So let's give him some reps late in games. But if he comes out in those first 3 non-conference games and gets some carries consistently, they might have that decision to make. Do we play him more than 4? You don't want to waste him too quick. You might still get those carries too quick. But I think that you will know pretty soon if his game will translate, because that's the biggest question mark is how does that jump? And obviously Lindale is not a small school by any means, but the step up in competition is huge, and everyone's curious how he will translate. Will those, however many touchdowns and yards he had, will that translate to a potential 1,000-yard season at some point in his career at Baylor? It's very possible. We don't know until he gets on the field of how quickly it will do it.
All right. Thank you very much, Cole. Appreciate it. Good stuff in the premium section. We just touched on a couple of things, really. There's a lot of juice in there. Running backs, offensive line, among many things as well, with the quarterback room as well. It's Colt Barber, SicEm365.com. When we come back, he's now the defensive quality control coach under Seth Luttrell and under Phil Bennett's defense at North Texas, former Baylor all-conference linebacker Taylor Young, next on SicEm365 Radio.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and 2-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio Live Guest VIP Hotline is sponsored by Stonewood Dental. We are all in this together.
3:35 is the time. Tari Cummings will join us, the newest addition to Nikki Collins' women's basketball staff. Taylor Young will join us here momentarily. Former Baylor all-conference linebacker, was a graduate assistant for a couple of years at Baylor, and now he's on the staff at North Texas. He'll join us here momentarily on SicEm365 Radio. Taylor Young, we have a picture on the wall in this studio, 101 Elm, off the corner of Martin Luther King and Elm Avenue, which has got on that Thursday night game when Taylor Young delivered a hello to Baker Mayfield in a game in which Baylor had Oklahoma on the rope, but they just couldn't quite get it done. Taylor Young now joins us with Paul Catalina, David Smoak, and Craig Smoak on SicEm365 Radio. Man, it's great to have you. I talked to you a little bit yesterday by just text and direct messages. Taylor, what does this opportunity mean to you to now have a full-time job in coaching?
Man, like it really do mean. Like it means a lot to me. Honestly, just having this opportunity, like here with, it's like coach. You know, it's like he gave me. It's like my first opportunity. It's like to play, and so now just to have that same opportunity to coach is like an honor.
Are you ready to rejoin the intensity that is Phil Bennett?
Yes, I'm ready. He is a character, coach. I'll tell you that much.
So, Taylor, tell us how this all came together. I mean, the big story is obviously you and Phil reuniting, and everybody loves that. But how did all this kind of get started and actually happen?
Well, honestly, I was looking for a job. I interviewed at a couple places. And
we lose him? Let's try to reconnect with Taylor Young just a second. We'll go back with Craig's question as well when we get him back. You there? Yep, we dropped out. We'll reconnect with Taylor Young momentarily and get back to Craig's question about how it all came about. I did have a chance to visit with Coach Bennett a little bit earlier today and a couple other nuggets from Taylor Young because, again, getting back with the guy that recruited him out of DeSoto when a lot of people just thought that, again, this is the same story. Phil Bennett likes linebackers who play football no matter what their height or weight or whatever else is. Taylor, Craig, go ahead and ask the question. Taylor rejoins us again.
Yeah, Taylor, just take us through, how you and Phil reconnected, how, you mentioned you were looking for a job, how this all kind of come together.
Right. So like I said, it's like at the end of the semester, it's like the spring semester, I just knew like I was going to have a job coming up soon. So I just started to look around. I had a couple of interviews and stuff like that. Things were going great. But, I just couldn't pass this opportunity up with Coach Bennett. He gave me like my first opportunity to play at a big college, at a big Power 5 college. So why not take this opportunity to learn, like as a coach, and just learn from him, and like just learn as much as possible. You know what I mean? So like I just took this opportunity and I ran with it, and like he was ecstatic to have me. So I mean, so far, like it's been a joy.
By the way, Jim Gush was as much recruiting you as Phil Bennett was to get on staff. Right. I don't know if you heard about this, but Jim Gush kept telling Coach Bennett after we joined North Texas, and then Coach Gush comes, hey, call Taylor Young. Call Taylor Young. What about Taylor Young? Did you hear that as well? Did you kind of share that with you?
Man, I didn't. I did not know that. Coach Gush is real quiet, like when it comes to stuff like that. So, I mean, that's awesome just to hear that coming from him. I mean, this is like here's like those two guys are my family, So it's like they took a chance on me when didn't nobody take a chance on me. So just to hear that type of attitude towards me, it's just so like it's an awesome feeling.
You take command as a player. When you were a high school player at DeSoto, you took command. You also have a presence, kind of like the quarterback as a leader does on offense.
For sure.
Do you kind of feel that, Taylor, because you played the game at such a high level, plus DeSoto, that's well known in the DFW area? Have you noticed how the players react to you at North Texas?
Yeah. So, like, as of right now, I've only got to talk to a couple of the players, but, man, they're super excited that I'm here and just to have me on staff. You know, and just to be able to work with those guys and you give them any of the knowledge that I know, I would love to do that. So, you know, it's us like a couple guys that I have talked to. They're definitely, like a couple guys that I have talked to, they're definitely excited.
So I know it's been a few years since you've played in the defense, though, but can you still pretty much by rote know the calls and everything that Phil is going to want?
You know, I haven't lost it at all. So I've been looking at some film, just going back over a few things. So I have a couple of kinks that I have to learn, but honestly, like, it hasn't stopped. Like, I know every last call, I think it seems like, you know, like it all comes back as soon as I start to watch more film. So this is, you know, like, it'd be an easy transition.
Taylor, I know that last year was a bit of a struggle. It's just a strange season. Everybody's, been over all the reasons for why it was tough. But what did you learn, the last couple years of being on staff, being around Dave Aranda and Ron Roberts? Obviously, the defense had, a lot of success last year. How pivotal was that to have that experience as well?
Man, it was a great experience, honestly, because like they came in and brought a new system that I haven't been a part of. So just learning that new system and getting like new thoughts and new minds together. I mean, honestly, it was a great learning experience. Those two guys are awesome coaches. And so like I just loved it. So like the fact that I got underneath those guys and I got to learn from them.
There's so many stories when you get on the phone with Phil Bennett and ask about a former player. There, you could go for hours. And so I'm going to ask you, what happened? We brought up the tackle against Mayfield at home when you guys were not expected to compete with Oklahoma and you took them all the way down to an onside kick. So let's go back to 2015 and Mayfield's the quarterback.
Okay.
And after the game was over, watching film, Coach Bennett kept writing you. You're laughing. He kept writing you about what?
Yeah, he was writing me about the fact that I missed 5 tackles that game. 5 tackles. So he kept that going on for like the next 2 weeks. Like, anytime he'd talk to me, he'd just say 5. 5.
5.
Like us, like I stand up in meetings, he'll just say, 5 tackles. Just constantly reminding me the fact that I missed 5 tackles. I promise you, I don't think I missed another tackle that season.
Did he ever walk up to you at practice with just all 5 fingers raised in the air at one time, like on his hand?
5. It was constant. It was, honestly, I'll tell you, it was constant. Constant. Every time I saw him, he made sure he raised his hands up and just told me 5.
Yeah,
so he was successfully the voice in your head.
Yeah.
Man. It was crazy. Man, because Bennett pushed me past places I thought I couldn't go. So, honestly, man, I thank him for it.
He likes, I mean, we've talked about this with you before, but he likes small linebackers. And he knows how to coach smaller linebackers. He's not the Bill Parcells, you got to be 6'2", 225 kind of a guy. For you, as a guy who did that and coaching yourself, what do you feel you can bring to those guys and seeing the ones like you, like Eddie or like Datwin, who just know where the ball is all the time?
For sure. Like, guys like to say that you can't really coach instincts, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel as though you can definitely coach instincts. You could definitely coach them what to look for and the keys that's going to be shown. Like, instincts comes from the film. It comes from just constantly knowing the game and knowing what's coming. You know what I mean? Like once you get past that, then like the instincts come in. Like the instincts come when you're constantly in the film room, you're constantly paying attention to the small details of practice and just like every little bit. And now you trust yourself and you trust your training, and now you could just go make plays and not think about it. That's what instincts are to me. And I feel as though if you bring that confidence into those kids, you could get that out of them. And now these guys are playing 110%, not thinking about missing a tackle or not thinking about making a mistake. I feel like that's where the instincts come from. And like, that's why I feel I played so hard and I played so fast, is just because of the fact that I didn't really care. And I trusted like myself, and I trusted, and I was confident, like in, like, you know, just with everything that I could do. You know what I mean? So I feel like I can bring that to those guys. And of
Taylor,
course,
your coaching career so far is a bit short in the tooth, but you could have gone a lot of different ways after college. Clearly, football's in your blood, though.
Sure.
What has your coaching experience been like so far? Do you feel like you've made the right choice as far as your path in life? Do you feel like you're where you belong?
Yes, I honestly do. I've been under a lot of great coaches, and I definitely appreciate it with Coach Rule. And he's now with Carolina. Like, he's one of my closest mentors. So like, anytime I need to talk to someone, I could just call him. With Coach Bennett, he's always been the guy for me. So like, anytime I needed a guy, I could always call him. And with Coach Aranda, even though we only got a season together, I feel as though we built a relationship. Like, for some reason, I'm always the guy that everybody needs. And so I'm just so thankful that those guys trust me, and like, I can be a part of that. I can just be a part of their programs. So I feel as though like this path right here has led me. This is the perfect path for me right now. Was just to get to learn, and also learn the system as a coach, and not just learn the system as a player as well. So I just feel this is just an awesome path for me.
Well, Coach Bennett also told me that he's taken over some of the special teams as well right now, and says that he's kind of had you in some of those meetings, and this is what he said. You talked about trust and all that. He said, Taylor takes every single note. Everything that I say, he writes something down. Where did that come? Who'd you learn that from?
I would have to say I learned that from Coach Rule. I would definitely have to say I learned that from Coach Rule. He taught us how to be a pro and just to do those type of things, man, just all the time. It's constant. So, like, even if you've already learned this information, still take notes over it. Still do those things. So, like, it's just those small details that are going to turn you into being good from great. And I'm just trying to be great. That's it. So, like, how I can be great as a coach is by just paying attention to the little things, do the little things right. I'm so young, so I could just learn so much. Hopefully I could just try to build all my knowledge and just keep on learning,
Taylor, you mentioned Coach Rule a couple of times now. Could you have ever imagined that you'd be, as tight with him as you are, just given the way kind of everything happened initially with him coming to Baylor?
Honestly, it was either going to be two things. It was either like we were going to be the best of friends or probably enemies. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So like, for me, it's like, man, I can learn a lot from this man. Like, it would be dumb, like, for me to not try to like learn and just be a young guy and just say, you know what, I'm going to transfer. And so by just sticking around and staying with him and learning from him, it was definitely like one of the best things I've ever done. And just building that relationship that I have with him, it's been awesome.
I remember when there was the transition, I talked to you on the phone.
For sure.
You and Trayvon were two of the guys that really were we're waiting to see what was going to happen, because you were two of the most experienced guys coming back. And I remember you weren't sure. You weren't really sure. Yeah. So back when Phil Bennett visited DeSoto at a practice, he asked Claude Mathis, who's your best football player? And and we know, and everybody knows, DeSoto's got like 100 of them, right? I mean, those that don't even get to play.
Right.
And he said, that guy right there. And Phil Bennett went, the Smurf? Called you the Smurf. And huh?
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
I remember like it was yesterday. Like, it's awesome. Just seeing that my head coach at the time, him having that type of all right, coach, see you later. But I was like, him having like that type of confidence in me to just say that when we had 4 stars and 5 stars on that team, I guess it's just a constant just it just. Man, it's just a great feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really just a great feeling just to have those guys having that much confidence in me, just to say those type of things and put his name on a line like that on the Smurf, as they call me.
Yeah, they did. They really, really did. And that's exactly what he did call you. We're talking to Taylor Young, former Baylor All-Conference linebacker, now a part of the North Texas staff with Seth Rachel, defensive quality control coach with Phil Bennett on the opposite side.
Taylor, you're obviously going to be, departed Waco. You're going to be working with Phil and company, but you did get a great look at, this Baylor defense here the last couple of years. And to see Terrell Bernard coming back from his injury, to see some of these young linebackers, what are your thoughts on the group that you're exiting and leaving now and the future of the Baylor defense?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Terrell Bernard is by far one of the best linebackers in the nation. Promise you that. There isn't a harder working linebacker in the nation that's going to work hard, that's going to watch more film than Terrell Bernard. I have to sit there as a coach and tell Terrell to leave. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing that I know for a fact, that I know he will bring that same mentality to everyone. Like every day he comes to practice and he works. So I'm just going to say that the defense is in great hands if Terrell Bernard is back and he's 100% healthy. He takes it serious and he is a pro. No doubt about that.
Can they match how good they were based on what you've seen? And I know you're gone now, but based on what you've seen, they added Siaka Ika, who's a monster inside. Can they match with how good they were defensively a couple of years ago when they played for a Big 12 title?
I believe so as the defense. But, the main thing that the defense have to do, and I hope they're still preaching them, is run to the ball. Run to the ball. That's what defense is all about, is just running to the ball. And so if these guys relentlessly run to the ball, get turnovers, that's all the defense is really about. Running to the ball and getting turnovers. You're getting stops when it's time to get stops. If those guys could do that, I'm telling you, they have the talent to do it. They honestly do have the talent to do it, and they have the leadership to do it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it gets done.
All right. You sound, and I got to tell you. I got a text from on our line from 254 from Mike. Please pass on to TY that there are a lot of good many people here in Waco who will follow Taylor's career and wish him the very best, Mike.
Man, that's great. That's great to hear.
And you saw the response when I put up on Twitter that you had been hired officially by North Texas. You sound so damn happy.
You said, it's like I sound happy?
Yeah.
Are you saying over Twitter?
No, I'm talking about with us. Yeah. Just we're talking with us. You sound sound so clear-minded, so happy. And is that kind of, can you kind of explain that? That's so unbelievable. It's wonderful.
Man, I am happy. This is my first job. It's like out of school. I still have 6 hours left to get my master's, so I'm going to try to finish that for sure because that's very important to me. But this is just my first job, and so I have a family. I got to take care of my family and stuff like that, and I'm just growing up. So just being clear-minded is definitely something that I make sure I'm that every day. You know what I mean? Every day, I'm trying to be the same guy, and so I got to take into that account, and I'm happy right now.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm glad you guys can hear that in my voice. That's great.
No question. And when you FaceTimed Brian Nance earlier today, how happy was he?
He was super happy. He was super happy just to hear my voice and just to see. He's more excited that I'm, at a new place. You know what I mean? So he's telling me, show me all the new facilities and to show me everything. So I'm showing them the different stuff that they got going. And man, I can tell you this: these North Texas facilities are one of the best around as far as it's like schools in the group of five. Promise you that.
Yeah.
These facilities are great.
Taylor, maybe one day he'll be on that same staff. Who knows? I know he's looking for that opportunity as well. Thank you so much. Very much. Congratulations. Appreciate your time. Stay in touch. People at Baylor and Waco love you. And obviously everyone else who's run into you in the past. Thanks for your time and have a great day. Thanks for being a part of the show.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, guys.
Taylor Young, all-conference linebacker boy, he could flat out play it. Coach Bennett gave to me. He goes, listen, he has coaches even now. Yeah, he's too short. His line's on. Can he play the game? Can he play football? Can he absolutely just go play football? And, yeah, you still would like to have the same heart and that same desire and the same commitment, the same fire in a 6'2", 225 guy. Mm-hmm. But Taylor Young made plays. Datwin made plays. Sam Mills made plays. Guys like that. Mike Singletary was too short. He's in the Hall of Fame, right?
I want linebackers who can find the ball and tackle people. It doesn't matter how big they are. Can they find the ball and tackle people within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage? And that's what those guys do.
I love what he said, Craig. I'm sure you might put this up, I hope, on Twitter about what he said about Terrell Bernard as well, and the fact that he's as good as anybody in the country.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go back and I don't know word for word, but I think he's just really stating the obvious, quite frankly. Yeah. I don't think that's breaking news to anybody that Terrell Bernard's one of the best linebackers in the country. But, no, he added a little extra, in terms of his work ethic. And if you're a Baylor linebacker, not many guys that you'd rather receive praise from than Taylor Young, that's for sure. So excited that he's getting this opportunity.
All right, as we take a break, Scotty B just gave us this, that the women's regional down in Baton Rouge, they never played a shot. It was rained out. Top 6 seeds advance, and that includes Baylor, women's golf. So that's what's going on in Baton Rouge, is they're having the rain that we've seen a little bit the last couple of days. Coming up next, Go ahead.
But apparently it's not even – it's more of like what they didn't do to have the course prepared than it is the actual weather. And so it's looking – I mean, based on what little I've read about it, it's a bit of a black eye on Baton Rouge and that golf course that they just basically fumbled the bag with the tournament and the weather they knew were coming in. So – I don't know what the real story is there, but, yeah, just not a good look.
Yeah, and thanks to Scotty B for that as well. When we come back, Tari Cummings, she's the new coach with Nikki Collin on the Baylor women's basketball staff. Tari Cummings, who coming from Fort Smith, played at Oklahoma State, has been around, has been a recruiting coordinator for a lot of her career as well, but lately a head coach at Fort Smith Junior College. She is next on SicEm365 Radio. PettyClinicLowT.com. Dr. Kent Petty can help you feel better, help your energy, help you get out of whatever funk you might be in when it comes to maybe you're just kind of lethargic, you don't feel right. And men, as you get older, things start to change. Mother Nature or Father Time. And one thing I could tell you as well is that testosterone in bodies starts to drop. Testosterone in your body as men, as you grow older, starts to drop. Not everybody, but 1 out of every 3 men have symptomatic issues when it comes to low testosterone, and Dr. Kent Petty can help you find if that's a problem with you. By going to PettyClinicLowT.com, you can find their location, Old Hewitt Road. You can get the phone number, top left-hand corner. Call them, tell them Smokey sent you, and say, hey, David was telling me about testosterone, and you can help me out. They'll even set up your blood work by making sure you go to a certain blood lab, get your blood done. He'll look at your testosterone levels, and if your testosterone levels are too low, he can put you in a program for you to become the high-performance man that you want to be. It's PettyClinicLowT.com.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long distance meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line. Pay over qualified buyer with 4,000 down to 2.9%. TTL extra. See deal for detail.
Travel is back, and so are the savings at the Memorial Day Savings Event at Richard Carr. Save $5,900 on 2021 Buick Encore. Drive off in the affordable luxury of a Buick Encore for as little as $258 a month. Or vacation in the spacious comfort of a 3-row Buick Enclave and save $8,500. 100% credit approval is always our goal. It's the Memorial Day Savings Event going on now at Richard Carr.
At Richard Carr, we give you more.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Boots add protection. Good boots help you climb better and move forward faster. And when your son or daughter steps into the boots of a U.S. Army officer, they also learn how to lead. In these boots, they'll gain more confidence with expert training in one of more than 150 occupational specialties. In these boots, they'll stand a little taller and lead a team with diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise to successfully accomplish whatever challenge comes next. In these boots, they'll earn respect with valuable experience from day one that will give them solid footing for success into the future. Highly qualified candidates who earn a spot on our team can receive comprehensive health care coverage, college tuition assistance, and a bonus of up to $40,000. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Look at this. 2 to shoot. Mitchell drains another 3.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
4:30 today, Jeremy Hefner, who is the Director of Athletic Performance, one of those retained by Nikki Cowan on the staff at Baylor Women's Basketball. And we've been waiting also as they slowly start to release, or maybe at one time there'll be a clump as well of those on staff, and including Tari Cummings, who joins us now on SicEm365 Radio as the first coach attached to the staff other than Alex Olson and Jeremy Hefner. And Tari, thanks for your time. So how quickly did this turn around? Because obviously Nikki's been on staff very quickly. You left, so I guess it might have been rapidly.
This was, I would say, a 3.5 day turnaround. So it's definitely happened quickly, though.
So how long after she got the job did you get a call?
When she got the job, it was announced Monday. We talked on Friday. And then, here we are.
Coach, you obviously have a bit of a history with Nikki Collin and her family. Can you kind of take us through your past, how they've intertwined in the past?
Oh, yeah. I love the Collin family. Coach Collin, Tom Collin, Nikki's husband, he was the head coach at University of Arkansas in 2011. And that's when he brought me on staff, and then Nikki came on staff. So we worked together for 3 years. And, it was great times there. And we stayed in touch. All of us have stayed in touch since then. I've been a big supporter of hers as well as she's mine. So this is just it's really awesome to be back, joined with her side by side, and making this thing happen again.
I noticed the first 4 times you were in at Fort Smith, Cincinnati, Houston, and Arkansas, that you were recruiting coordinator. Is that something, obviously the South a little bit, the area where, of course, Baylor has gotten a lot of players, not that they don't go nationwide. How much of that was in your discussion with Coach Collin? I just told her, I said, Nikki, I don't really need a title.
in that. I love to recruit. So I'll do whatever it is you need me to do. Like, so, I just, coaching, I love every aspect of the game. And that's one of the things that I love about Nikki, because she wants to grow, her coaches and everybody that's in her, around with her. So, she said, we'll just get here and we'll figure it out. We're all going to recruit. We're all going to coach. We're all going to scout. So I love that aspect of it and how she, how she's going to do her staff and, just continue to kind of empower us and all of us be involved. But yeah, definitely going to be hitting the recruiting hard and everything, because I love it. I love building the relationship.
Is that the key to it for you? Is the building why you love it so much? Or what about recruiting makes you love it? Because some coaches don't. Some coaches, I think that's why some coaches go to the pros, because they just get tired of it.
Yeah, I mean, I really do enjoy building relationships with the kids and just coaches and everything, but getting to know them and everything and those long lives. I mean, even kids that I recruited through the years that I did not get, I still have relationships with some of them, So that's what I like about it. Then just kind of the competition of it all too, as well. Just kind of so it's a grind, I know, and it could get kind of heavy at times, but I enjoy it. But mainly for the building of the relationship.
Coach, when you heard about the Baylor job opening up, obviously there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of publicity for the move and then the job opening up. Did you ever in your wildest dreams think Nikki Collin would leave the WNBA to come back to college basketball? Was that much of a surprise to you?
It was a very big surprise. I was like, oh my God. I was like, shock the world. Okay, let's go. Mm-hmm. So, no, it did not enter into my mind. And I was like, 6 days ago, you were the head coach of the Atlanta Dream. So, but it's an amazing opportunity for her. And, Nikki when I worked with her at Arkansas, one of the things I learned so much from her. She just has an amazing basketball mind. And I'm just excited to work alongside of her and continue to grow as a coach and everything. And, again, Baylor has such a rich tradition and their success and everything. And we just, we're here to continue that. And I believe in her. And so I'm ready. I'm excited.
Tari, I don't know if you could comment on this, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask. The only high school player that Baylor has signed is a young lady, Mariam Dowda, out of Arkansas. Do you know her? Mm-hmm. Have you spoken with her? Can you comment on her?
I do know her. I have not spoken with her, and I've been on the job 4 hours, so no.
Oh, my God.
So there's not really much I can say, honestly, in that. I mean,
maybe in hours 5 and 6 you can get around to it.
Would you please get some energy? My God, you need to get something done. It's been 4 hours.
Right. So
well, okay. How good a player? Have you seen her play? How good is she?
I have. I watched her a lot because I actually had while I was here at UFIS, I signed one of her teammates. So I got to watch her a lot. Very skilled, I like to, for her size and being able to shoot the ball as well as she can and stretch the defenses and everything. So, yeah, I know that, she's obviously right now dealing with her injury. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm sure, going through that rehab I know that rehab process is, very strenuous. It could be very depressing at times with it. So I'm sure that's what our focus on. Like I said, I can't really comment too much on it.
Yeah. No, that's okay. That's okay. We're talking again to Tari Cummings. He's the new coach on Nikki Collin's staff with the Baylor Lady Bears.
How different is this stepping into a team that is, a hamstring injury and a questionable call away from being in a Final Four? Normally when coaches leave, it's a rebuild situation.
Right. No, this, like I said, this is an amazing opportunity to come into this, and knowing that's one of the things that was most attractive to, to come into a top 5 program with the chances of, contending for a national championship within the near future. That's a no brainer there. So definitely, cupboard is not there. So it's just very exciting times. And, again, just ready to get to work. And I'm excited to meet the kids and start workouts in June and everything, and ready to, just get going.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, where did your love for basketball come from? Who was the person to put the ball in your hand, so to speak?
That would be my father. He was a legend around Pensacola, and he went to Langston, and he was a legend around those parts. And he just, I have a brother, I have an older sister, and I'm a middle, and then my brother is younger. We all three went to college on scholarships, basketball scholarships. So it was just something that was embedded in us at an early age, and he worked with us all the time. But I'm going to tell you, I was not very good growing up young, and he was like, he said, no more. And so he just got us in the gym, and he instilled that work ethic in us, and, and being able to see, hey, you put in the work, like, you see the fruits of your labor. So that was just some of the things that drove me, and I just loved the game, and being able to go to the park with him on Sundays and watch him still play against the young kids and still, do his thing. So I just fell in love with it at a young age.
Well, you were at Oklahoma State for a couple of years after Fort Smith, so you've played Baylor, right? When you were a player a couple of times, yeah.
Yes. Yep, and I believe I want to say that my senior year might have been Coach Mulkey's first year at Baylor.
Right. Yeah, it was. So you mentioned this many times, and I really like the way Nikki took this head on the day she was introduced, and she joined us on Wednesday last week. You understand the standard that's been set, and it seems like what I love is the fact that you or everyone else who's on their way here, they know it and embrace it, and that's not always the case. That's important, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, how could you not coming into the situation? Everyone knows. Look at it. The standard that and the tradition that Baylor has and the success that this program has had. So, you don't step into this situation without understanding the goal is to maintain that and continue it, and continue to build on it. So, and it's you come in and it's time to go to work. So.
Tari Cummings is our guest. Again, she's a part of Nikki Collins' staff on SicEm365 Radio. Paul?
Tari, are you aware of the Oklahoma State basketball to Baylor pipeline with President Linda Livingstone and her husband Brad, both former Pokes themselves?
I am not, actually.
Yeah, so everyone's boss is she's on your side.
Hey, learn something new every day on that one. Hey.
So, Coach, what's kind of like the schedule for you now that the announcement's been made official? Obviously, you got to move and do all things. Like, what's kind of on the forefront for you as you make this transition?
Well, really the biggest thing is just getting on the phone right now. My plan is to reach out to the returning players and introduce myself to them, and kind of, start trying to, just get to know them and them get to know me before we get to campus and everything. And then just hitting the phones from the recruiting trail, and making those connections and, hammering that in and trying to, I think I'm going to come to campus next week and everything, kind of just get familiar with that as much as possible. And then I think be on campus actually back and forth, like at the beginning of June, on the weekends, probably come back and try to get everything set with my house and everything like that. It's a quick turnaround. I haven't had much time to really formulate a plan on that side. I just know, hey, it's time to go to work.
Well,
and everything else will kind of fall in place.
Well, when the announcement came down, like you said, it's been officially like 4 hours. At 2:00, first thing we did is we contacted Kyle Robards, who's athletic communications for women's basketball. It's a big deal, and we want you on, and glad we could get you on. And it's been 4 hours. When was the last time? Do you even remember? Because you're going to be blown away by Waco, Texas. Because Waco, Texas used to be kind of a quiet little town, slumbering town. The campus was there. You remember the last time you might have been in Waco? Because I think you're going to be blown away by how much it's changed in 20 years or so.
Okay. Well, the last time I came to Waco is when I was coaching at Houston. We made it to the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
And so... And it was hosted there. I mean, first round, obviously.
Right.
And that was, what was that, 2000 and So it had to be 11?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
You're not going
to
you're going to be blown away. I'm telling you, Tari, you're going to be blown away. It's incredible.
I hear great things about it. I hear so many great things about it. I'm excited to get there. The energy is amazing. I love it. So I am, I can't wait to be engulfed in it.
But do know that I-35 is under construction, and it has been and may be for the rest of your life. Just to make sure you understand that. Yeah.
The rest of my life?
Yeah.
Great.
It seems like it.
Can't wait.
That's what it seems like.
That sounds like you're telling me I could be sitting in a parking lot at any time.
No, there's different ways. It used to be you could get anywhere in Waco in about 7 to 10 minutes, but that's hey, I'm telling you right now, love your energy, your personality. Appreciate the way you've accepted what this role is, and I know Nikki has as well. Thanks for your time. Has she...
Thank you for having me.
I mean, has she told you anything else about others on the staff? I mean, I got to try to do my job here. Anything else?
No. Hey, she's on it. She is working diligently and doing what she's doing, and so that is all I can tell you.
That's good.
I know this. You guys will not, you would not be disappointed. I mean, however it goes, they're going to be just as energetic and ready to go and very, very deserving of the opportunity.
Tari, thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too. By the way, Tari, is she still there? Are you still there?
I am.
You were on a team last year that I think had more games canceled than you played. How much are you biting? How much are you biting at the bit to be a part of basketball?
Oh my God. Listen, that was one of the hardest years. I know everyone struggled with COVID and everything, but that was one of the hardest years as far as coaching goes. Yes, we played 9 games total. And every game was either canceled because of positive cases on our end or contact tracing or the other. It was very frustrating. So I am ready to be on the court, actually playing games, just consistently. That is so. Yeah, I'm excited.
We look forward to seeing you, meeting you as well. Tari, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. That's Tari Cummings.
You're welcome.
She's joining Nikki Collin and her staff, announced earlier today. I love the question. Have you talked to Miriam Dowda? I've only been on the job. I've had it for 4 hours. So we appreciate her time. We'll come back with a couple of notes here in this 4 o'clock hour. Jeremy Hefner, who yesterday was announced that he's coming back as athletic performance for women's basketball. He'll join us at 4:30. John Machota on the Cowboys. The schedule has been released. The full schedule released tonight, but we'll discuss the opener against the Buccaneers and a couple of other games that have leaked out, Raiders, Thanksgiving Day, and a few others. And then also, Rangers President of Baseball Operations, John Daniels, SicEm365 Radio.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine, they've got the new Balcones release right now. That's the single barrel. That's the only place you can get it is at Riverbend Liquor and Wine. Steve Chapman told me about that the other day. So you can get that there right now. Plus, just a fantastic selection of everything. If it's not spirits, it's the craft beer, which they rotate. Like I always say, they churn the bottom of that roster all the time. They're always churning their craft beer roster, and seasonal, all the things that you could ever imagine. They do it. He gets in a list. He has to pick things. He's got to fit them in that walk-in fridge, which is pretty big, but still, he's got so much variety and selection. It'll blow you away what they have as far as craft beer goes at Riverbend Liquor and Wine. Plus, great customer service, great selection of just everything there. And if you don't want to get out of the car and go through the drive-through window, don't be intimidated if there's 4 or 5 cars in front of you, because they're going to get that done quick. Boom, boom, boom. They are super fast. They know where everything is in the store down to the millimeter of where it is. Great customer service, great people that work there, and just a fantastic selection of whatever you need, whether it's spirits, beer, or wine. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, Lakeshore Drive at North 19th Street. Find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more. With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobbettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasoning, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Alan Samuels is celebrating the Pacifica Minivan Month with the all-new Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid Limited with up to $6,000 in values or 0% for 72 months. The 2021 Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid Limited has exceptional and efficient hybrid gas range for local driving or extended excursions. See the new Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid Limited at Alan Samuels, the award-winning customer service Central Texas dealer. Located at 201 West Loop 340, Alan Samuels is your friend in the car business.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio app is sponsored by Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
I received a direct message on the message board in the where people can send you something just like it is on Twitter and elsewhere from Ron. Great interview, guys, with Ish Wainwright. I thought the Mulkey tweet he talked about was awesome as far as the story behind it, and it was very telling, in my opinion. You guys continue to do what you do. That I kind of paraphrase it. He was nice what he said about us. Thanks a lot, Ron. Appreciate that message. And, Ish Wainwright, I got a couple of people that sent me some messages last night after they heard what Ish mentioned about the court and who could be on it and who couldn't. And that's always interesting, always very, very interesting. Jeremy Hefner will join us here momentarily. So Tom Brady, 9-9 can't come soon enough. Excited to open against America's team.
He's good at throwing shade.
No question.
And the thing is, you can't throw anything back at him. At all.
All he has to do is put up like 12 fingers, right?
I mean, what can you say? Like, oh, you're not good at I don't know what Tom Brady's not good at. You know what? I would like to see a thing that Tom Brady's not good at.
By the way,
40-yard dash.
Okay.
Or what he looked like at the combine when he looked like a string bean.
Yeah, and now he's like the king of fitness. And
let's do this. How many does he have?
7 rings.
Is it 7 or 8?
Yeah, 7.
It's ridiculous.
He's been to he's lost 3. He's been to 10 Super Bowls. He's 7-3 in Super Bowls.
That was on his Instagram account. I'm not an Instagram guy, but that was up there on from
Do you
Football
guys think
Post.
that when Dan Marino watches Tom Brady, he's just he's just beside himself?
Yeah. I don't know. Dan likes him.
I know, but it's still the one thing that Dan wanted to do, he got to do in his second year? His second year, he went there. He lost to the 85 Bears, and then he never went back. It's hard. Aaron Rodgers has only been once.
He lost to the New England lost to the Bears in 85.
Okay. Oh, he lost to the 49ers.
Yeah.
He lost to Joe Montana.
Yeah, to that
he lost to Joe Montana. So he loses Joe Montana, and then
as everyone else did as well. Hey, by the way, on Miriam Dowda, we asked Tari Cummings about her. She did hurt her knee last year. She's rehabbing. She was alluding to that a little bit as well. Craig is on Skype right now, and Paul, Catalina, David Smoak were in studio along with Paul, a new person.
Yes. Don't hold on. I wasn't ready for this. Jack, introduce our new person.
So you're gonna go to Jack?
Yeah.
The new guy is Hayden. He's taking care of the podcast.
I was going to say Houston, and I knew that wasn't right.
No, well, Hayden. There's Hayden in Houston.
He's doing a great job covering for me right now.
Yeah, because you're doing a great job covering for Armstrong.
Exactly.
And Emma's here, and God bless her, she showed up for another day.
I feel like Emma is not really a film and digital media major. It is a cover for her, and she's doing some sort of social experiment and seeing what we're like in the wild.
If she is, she's playing her role well. She's
getting
better.
Yeah.
Greg, you're gonna meet 2 new people when you're back. Hayden is here, Emma's here, so we got the new folks coming in as well for the summer. All right, anything on your radar today, Craig, other than what we discussed for the first hour and a half?
No, not really. Just waiting to hear from Jeremy Hefner and his thoughts on the Lady Bears and sticking with the program. But no, I mean, I don't have anything news-wise that I'm really, obsessed over right now. But it was fun to hear from Tari Cummings and getting to know some of the energy and the people that will be, guiding the Lady Bears moving forward. So love what I heard from her, and I'm sure the players will get to love her as well. But just waiting to see how things kind of fill out and see what news pops up here and there. But sort of excited to see the NFL schedule, to see, kind of the path for certain teams, what the Cowboys are going to be looking at, what Washington will be looking at. But, just kind of another day in some ways.
All right. Do you have, by the way, Jack, if I give you a Twitter name, it's the second tweet under his timeline. It's AB, it's Coach Brooks. What is it? It's like AB, or just look under Alvin Brooks.
That's it?
There you go. Look at that. Big billboard up just north of 35. Coach Brooks took the picture, put it up on Twitter, celebrating the 2021 National Championship. And so Baylor now in tennis, women's basketball, and men's basketball, and, of course, acrobatics and tumbling and others, they have national titles. Like, they're starting to build them up along some other sports as well. We're now joined, is that right?
Yep.
By Jeremy Hefner. He is athletic performance for women's basketball. Jeremy, the last time I spoke with you, and good afternoon, and thank you for joining the show. Last time I spoke with you was under some really difficult situation because you were in San Antonio. You and Kyle Robarts both were talking about how you could see your family but not do much with them. I appreciated that because the emotions you showed, you and Kyle, that day was amazing. What was it like when you finally could hug them?
Oh, Smoak, it was hard to say because you just lost the basketball game.
Yep.
But at the same time, you got to put your arms around your wife and your daughter, and it had been, I don't know, it was all I could think about. So it was exciting to say the least.
I can imagine the last week or two have been a whirlwind for you and a lot of others as well. What's it been like watching the transition, and what was it like? And kind of take us through what you and Coach Colin talked about staying a part of the women's basketball staff?
Well, it was a lot of waiting, kind of holding your breath, hoping for an opportunity, to get to speak with Coach. And then when I did, it was just it was a big sigh of relief, just from her as a person, having the opportunity to speak openly and honestly and talk about what I believe in and what I believe my role is and what I believe I can offer. And getting to do that in an open and honest forum where I could be myself and she could get to know who I am. It was a breath of fresh air. And after holding your breath for 2 weeks, that's kind of nice.
Jeremy, you've been here, 2 different stints, but you came back for a reason. You wanted to be here in Waco. I can't imagine you said breathing a breath of fresh air or letting breathing again. Was it relief, joy? What was the emotion when we finally got that yes?
Yeah, I kind of felt like I was walking on air. I'm not sure my feet were touching the ground. It was an opportunity to stay in a community that we love, that has embraced us and we've embraced, stay at a university we believe in. And then with the program supporting student athletes that, they're like family to us. They're my daughter's big sisters. And, it just kind of everything aligned at once for us. And we're grateful for the opportunity. And I'm just fired up to be here to support Coach Colin.
What were kind of your first impressions of Coach Colin? Just her, kind of her personality, her energy.
Man, that's a tough one because my first interaction with her was with the team when she came in and we had the team meeting. I was still included in that meeting, but when we sat down we had breakfast together and she's real, she's down to earth, she's student athlete centered. And I just those are kind of cornerstones of my personal philosophy on what I do for a living and basically how I carry myself. So I really enjoyed hearing her tell me about what the program was going to be, what the future of Baylor women's basketball looked like, because it really aligns with my personal philosophy, and it was exciting.
Jeremy, I think there's in football, when a head coach is hired, a lot of times the strength and conditioning coach is tied into that person. Sometimes there's a year or two before that happens. And as Paul mentioned, you've been a part of the Lady Bears under Kim Mulkey a couple of different times. How important, and when I saw your name was staying, first of all, I was happy because I know you're okay enough to where that we are glad you're staying for obvious reasons, what you do. But the players, how important is it, in your opinion, that you're there and they know you? There's incoming transfers and whatever else, but they know you. How critical is that connection?
I think it's going to give Coach Colin a really solid foundation to start off on, because they do have me to rely on. They're going to be honest with me. They're going to tell me what I need to hear and what I can share with Coach. And so I think it gives her, it's a point of stability so that she can go be who she needs to be, go do all the recruiting she needs to do. And we can take care of the things that we need to take care of here at the house.
Is it going to be a lot easier for the team, especially in strength and conditioning? You spend more time with them than almost anybody, to not have that transition from one coach to another?
I really do think so, because you're going to be changing the majority of the staff, and to have some people that are in your corner that you spend with every day that are advocates for you, like myself and Alex Olson, our athletic trainer. Mm-hmm. I think it, like I said, it's going to provide a point of stability for the student athletes, so that they're not adapting to everything all at once. This is comfortable to them. This is something that they know and hopefully love, based on the response we've got. I believe that they do. And, so it's something that they can come back to us whenever they need to, when things get tough. They're going to have a comfortable person to speak to.
Jeremy, with your role, is there certain things, like, do different coaches look for different things? Is there a different point of emphasis, perhaps? I know you guys have plenty of other things to plan out here moving forward, but do you have any type of an indication from Coach Colin on kind of the direction she wants to take? Is it just kind of the same direction you've been going this whole time?
I think there are going to be some different direction. I don't think that the details have been. I haven't been privy to all the details yet, because Coach Collins is building a staff right now. But what we have talked about, as far as like basketball wise, we're going to be run and gun. We're going to be wide open. We're going to be a pro style offense, pushing the ball, and yeah, I mean, like we're going to be defensive intensive, but our offense is going to be a little bit more wide open. And, for someone like me who can have an impact on our resiliency and our durability and our ability to push the ball, that's exciting for me. So I like the fact that I get to stay where I'm at and do what I love to do, but be challenged with this new opportunity, with this new challenge. Like we're going to be a little bit different on the offensive end, and that's exciting to me.
You have different type of certifications, et cetera, with strength and conditioning and all of that. I thought, and Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought I saw Charlie Melton post a picture recently, and I couldn't find it, but I thought I saw him post a picture recently with you and that you earned yet something else. Is that correct? Is there another certification that you earned?
Yes, I received, it was actually from previous year, just because of COVID, I didn't receive it, but I was awarded my Master Strength Conditioning jacket. Charlie had been awarded it some years ago, and he actually was the person who handed me my jacket in the ceremony. So we took a picture together, but yeah, it's an honor to be recognized by your peers as a master in your craft, and certainly an honor to be given that jacket from Charlie Melton, one of my best friends.
All right, who can work out harder, you or Charlie?
Well, that's tough. Now, are you asking me who's stronger? Because Charlie's got me by about 50 pounds, so I'm going to give him that. But I think we can both go all day now. We can both go all day. And by the way, I'm sorry, I am on the radio. I got to get this in here. We no longer refer to him as just Charlie. We call him Champion Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
From here on out.
Yeah. When I did that interview with you and Kyle that I alluded to, then I went to Indianapolis. And I was walking back to the hotel one day, and I'm walking along the area that would normally be, it's like a lobby. I don't know where it would be, but Charlie's on one side of the window, on one side of whatever this lobby is, across the street from where they were staying, and his wife and I think 3 children. Is that right? I believe it was.
Yes, there's 5 between the 2 of them, but his 3 children, yeah.
3, yeah, and they're on the other side of the glass. And when I saw them, and you could tell they were thrilled to see Daddy, and he was obviously thrilled to see them. But when I saw them, I thought about you, and I thought about Kyle, because that's the picture you guys tried to paint, that you could only look but don't touch in a certain way.
Yeah, and as hard as it was for them, his kids are teenagers, and so you can have a conversation, and that was the thing for Kyle and I. Like our kids are 3 to 5 years old. It's so hard to explain, and they just don't understand why you would be on the other side of a glass and can't see, it can't touch me, So that was not that it was any easier for Charlie than it was for us. It certainly wasn't. They were gone for so long. But yeah, it just I saw that picture. He actually sent a picture of that to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was tough.
You know what I also love about Jeremy? He served our country, United States Army, 1996 to 98. Was in Fort Campbell in Kentucky. Won a lot of different awards and medals and all of that. How much does that play into what you do? And is it more mentally what you learned serving the country in the Army than it is physically with training girls, women in women's basketball, athletes?
I think, first of all, I don't think you can ever separate the mental from the physical. We can talk about them separately, but when they're put into action, they're the same. And there are aspects of the military life, which obviously Smoak, but they put you in a situation where it's sink or swim, and generally those situations are physical. So the components are always combined, but really where the military served me well was the discipline. A cornerstone of my philosophy is consistency breeds intensity, and you just have to show up every day, and you have to give your best effort every day. And when you do that, great things happen. And I think that's what benefited me most my time in the military was you just had to show up. If you didn't feel good, you had a broken foot, whatever it was, you had to give your best effort because, the enemy didn't care. And you had people that were relying on you, and you needed to be there for them. And so I think that's the aspect that has benefited me most in my career, in my life, in my my daily life as a father and a husband. Is just you just got to show up, and you got to give your best effort when you're there.
You mentioned earlier how you had to wait, and it did seem like there was days going by when there was even the uncertainty of what was going to happen with women's basketball. A lot of people think about when somebody continues to build a staff or when somebody's retained, it's not just a one-way street. Yes, Nikki Collin wanted to have Jeremy Hefner, and Jeremy Hefner had to want to stay. Was that the way it was?
Yes, I mean, I was committed to staying in Waco, and I wanted to stay with the program. I could have walked in there and not liked what I saw and not wanted to stay. I mean, that was a reality. My wife and I talked about that. But after the press conference, that really wasn't a reality. Then it just become, after I heard her speak at her initial press conference, I knew that if she wanted me, this is where I still wanted to be.
Well, everyone's happy. I know you're happy. And your wife has a great job here in the local market as well in Waco, so that's good there as well. Thanks for your time, Jeremy. We appreciate you so much. Congratulations. I don't know what message is sent, but I thought it sent a pretty good message when you decided you would be a part of it and vice versa with Nikki as well. So thanks for your time.
Thank you, Smoak. I appreciate it.
That's Jeremy Hefner. Served our country, and now twice has been athletic performance at Baylor. He spent a little time at Lee High School where Craig and Jennifer both graduated. Now Legacy. We've mentioned that like twice this week.
Yeah.
Who was it with? There was some other mention of that. I can't remember where it was.
Well, it was yesterday when we said we're going to have him on the show.
We were going to have him on the show. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good for him. Hey, I think that says a lot. And he said a lot. He talked about the pace of play and what they're going to do because they're going to go. That doesn't mean they couldn't before, but it looks like they're going to play with can I say it on the, I won't get blocked by YouTube.
You mean a modern offense?
No, yeah, there you go. Stick your head in the tank of gasoline and light it with a match because that's what it looks like it might be. That doesn't mean you can't play big girl ball inside as well. When we come back, we'll wrap up this 4 o'clock hour. John Machota on the Cowboys and opening with Tampa Bay at 5. Craig Smoak, of course, back now. He's on Skype. Paul Catalina, David Smoak in studio. And also John Daniels of the Rangers at 5:30, SicEm365 Radio. IdealMRI.com. How many times have you been injured enough to where your doctor says we need to get an x-ray? Or your doctor says, no, we need to get an MRI. If your doctor or you ever find that you're in enough pain, whether it's your shoulder, a torn lumbar, you don't know that, or rotator cuff, or a torn or detached bicep, an ACL, MCL, PCL, whatever it might be in your knee, or something that you may have torn or some muscle or ligament that hurts and you just don't quite know, but it hurts. It's different than if you kind of bumped your leg into a table or a chair. It's different than if you maybe strained something. But your doctor says, hey, let's get a look, let's get an MRI. Then that's when you say, okay, I want to go to Ideal MRI. Why? Not because I'm telling you. No, but because of what they can do for you in saving you hundreds and maybe thousands of dollars. The average MRI costs $1,100. That's the average. Every time at Ideal MRI, it's $497 or less. Every time, $497 or less, and they'll also help you with opportunities help you with your insurance. Also, it's not some huge, massive room where you're going to have like 25 other people waiting. You're not going to sit there and have to wait for maybe sometimes 45 minutes or an hour or two to get called back to get your MRI. You go online, you call them, you drop by. They're in the Central Texas Marketplace on the south part of Waco off I-35 on Loop 340 and Highway 6 headed west. In that Central Texas Marketplace, they have their state-of-the-art technology MRI. It's unbelievable. I've been in it. It's crazy good. Specialists in techs will help you out, and then when it's done, a doctor will call you and explain exactly what they see, which is probably something your doctor has told you, but you needed the MRI for evidence at IdealMRI.com.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness was built to help give you a chance to enjoy elite tennis facilities and also remain fit or reshape your body. Now Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has gone through its own physical changes. There are 7 large flat screens stretched across the main and improved weight room with Wi-Fi available and their own app to enjoy news, business, weather, or sports channels. The beautiful sound of active treadmills and elliptical machines, group exercise classes throughout each day, a new ballet bar for bar classes, a new look lounge and bar with beer and wine with more large flat screens available, touchless water fountains outside each spacious men's and women's locker rooms, showers, sauna, and whirlpool, upgraded PA system throughout the world-class tennis courts, and lessons for adults and juniors. I promise you'll look and feel better. You just need to walk through the front door. Also, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. So start today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Stepping into a new pair of boots is great, but stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can also add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. There are more than 150 occupational specialties to help them find the best fit for their future. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
This is SicEm365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The SicEm365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
All right, the last segment is 4 o'clock hour. John Machota, Cowboys will open up against Tampa. You'll join us at 5. Also want to look at Leighton, Vander, Esch. They got him in the first-round pick, remember? It was fantastic his rookie year. I want to talk to John about, has he fulfilled that pick as far as where they chose him? We'll do that today at 5. Paul, get your feedback and also Craig's as well.
Especially since, did they just miss out on Derwin James, who I know has been injured?
Well, you know who they also could have drafted, I think, was Ridley.
Yes.
And they drafted Gallup in the 3rd round, who's been as good as a 3rd-round pick as you could expect from him. So we'll get into that.
The only reason Michael Gallup wouldn't get a second contract for the Cowboys is he's priced himself out of what they can do. Leighton Vander Esch may not get one because he's just not.
Well, he's had an injury history now. He's kind of got that Sean Lee to him. Who knows?
Yeah, and
so
that's it. That's something. I'll have to think about that.
All right, Teddy Bridgewater. This is David Newton, who covers the Panthers. Craig Smoak, Paul Catalina, David Smoak, Teddy Bridgewater. Wednesday questioned how the Panthers practice under Matt Rule in 2 critical areas. He said, I'll just say this for Joe Brady's growth. They'll have to practice different things in different ways. One of the things that we didn't do much of when I was there, we didn't practice 2-minute drills. We didn't practice red zone. We didn't practice on Fridays. But you walk through the red zone stuff, and then Saturdays you came out and practiced the red zone, but you only really got about 15 live reps.
Okay, I mean, does that mean – I mean, he was about what everybody thought he would be regardless of anything last year, right? So what does that mean? If he's – I mean, Teddy Bridgewater is what he is. You know, that team is what it was, and Christian McCaffrey was hurt. And so I don't know, like saying the practice, that's his opinion, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's an opinion is what it is. And – you know, maybe it's different from what he's used to. Maybe he's got a point. I don't know. I feel like there's enough football minds within the Panthers front office that they know whether or not they're practicing something enough. I think Teddy Bridgewater's issue is just, you know, more on his shoulders. You know, the guy's been given a lot of opportunities, and he's, you know, been a great story and all that. Seems like a really good dude, but, you know, he had that opportunity last year. There's a reason why they went and grabbed Sam Darnold, and I don't think it's because of the way they practice red zone offense. So, you know, maybe that's something that Carolina works on. Maybe it's something that, you know, they don't work on and it doesn't end up mattering. But regardless, Teddy Bridgewater had his shot, and now they're going a different direction.
Here's an interesting, I didn't know this. I didn't pay much attention to this. We had Matt Rule on just, last week. Carolina's schedule was different. Friday was a walkthrough instead of a full practice. Saturday was a full practice.
Yeah, I mean, that's weird.
I don't know if that means full contact, but a full practice, which is a little bit
they
different.
don't have a lot of contact anyway.
No, they don't.
I mean,
They don't.
so, you know, and look, Craig, you know this. Matt Rule kind of had unorthodox ways of doing things when he got here. And that's his whole thing, is trying out different things. I wouldn't be surprised if it was different completely for what they have now, because he's kind of learned what to do and what not to do as an NFL coach.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see their practice to know what's actually what here. You know, saying they practice on Saturday, I mean, I'm having a hard time envisioning the day before a game going out there and going through full drills and all that kind of jazz. So I don't know. Teddy Bridgewater, you know, good luck to you, you know, with the rest of your career. Great that Carolina gave him an opportunity. But, you know, I'll let Matt Rule worry about how the Panthers are practicing and whether or not it's going to get them where they eventually need to be.
Here's an interesting note today. College basketball, that Ty Washington decides tonight, and I mentioned to Kansas, LSU, Kentucky, and Arizona. Earlier today, Patrick Baldwin Jr., a 5-star basketball recruit, committed to Milwaukee over Duke, Georgetown, and Virginia. You know why? His dad's the head coach, has been since 2017.
That seems like an unfair advantage.
There had to be a catch there somewhere. I mean, unless they were a SWAC school or something, you know, and you were doing the whole, hey, let's go to the HBCUs and try to make a difference, as, you know, some guys are doing with, you know, Deion Sanders' program and that kind of thing. We've seen it a couple times. I think in basketball last year, there were a couple guys who maybe committed to HBCUs. This is not that case. So, yeah, you figure there's got to be something weird there. And, yeah, the father being the head coach, that makes sense for why he's headed there. And I don't know how many Milwaukee basketball fans there are, but they got a big jolt today, that's for sure.
No, that's a huge deal. 5-star player that normally, if you blink, it's Duke, Georgetown, Virginia, Kentucky, Kansas, whoever, maybe Baylor. But he's going to play for his father at Milwaukee. He's part of the Horizon League. Good for him. He's the 4th-rated recruit in the class of 2021, the number 8 player in the ESPN 2022 NBA mock draft. So he's a one-and-done guy, and he's going to go play at Milwaukee. So good for him, staying home and playing for his father as well.
Well, if you're only going to go for a year, right? So if you're only going to go for a year, go somewhere where you're going to be happy. And again, I mean, he could go and do the G League thing or whatever they do, play in Europe or play in Australia, all the things that some of these guys have done, which I think is much better than going to college and pretending that you want to be a student for any longer than a year. You know, I think that's just silly. And, you know, that way you get guys who want to be college basketball players. Yeah, you're going to miss out on, you know, 4 or 5 guys who could be, you know, difference makers for a team for a year. But as we're starting to see in college basketball, the one-and-dones don't really make that much of a difference unless you had, like Kentucky had, 9 of them. You know, when you have all of them, all the one-and-dones for that year in the same team, then you're probably going to win the title. But if you just have one, he better be pretty damn good. He better be mellow good.
Kentucky did that one time.
Yeah.
But there are other years when they had more than one or 2 or 4 or 5, and they didn't. Even though I like Cal, he's an entertaining guy. I know that he's had his history with some things as well, and some accusations about when he was at Memphis. So I kind of like John Calipari. He's pretty damn honest. Although people may say, well, maybe not.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm talking about in a press conference setting.
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree with it. I thought the press conference setting was sheer politician. No. I'm not wrong. You're wrong. Kind of a thing that he did.
We've never known of anyone who was like that.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's why I don't. That's why I kind of. And he was. I think the reason I didn't hate him is because he was so masterful with it. I
got a new 5 for 5. You're going to do this.
Okay.
5 best post-game head basketball coaches.
Oh, okay. Best as far as entertaining, or best as far? I guess I can just throw it in.
If you don't have Bob Huggins. If you don't have Frank Martin on the list.
Oh, yeah, no. And they're from the same, Frank Martin's from the Bob Huggins tree.
I know.
Frank Martin is, he yells during the game, but in the pre- and post-game press conferences, it's like you're going to a Tony Robbins kind of a thing. He's that level good. Bob Huggins is a psycho during the game. And then I think he's like, well, I like what the rebounded well.
Yeah, he hasn't really been much of a psycho. He's calmed down, because of health. Because of age, he's mellowed.
But you see him, and
oh my God, he's the Godfather.
Yeah, I know. I think the most fun I've ever had on a treadmill in my life was I was in Kansas City on the treadmill. He came in the one next to me, and there was a guy in there doing you've been in a hotel gym and somebody's trying to do a workout that they need much more space for. You know what I'm talking about, Smokey? There was a guy in there. And he was just bouncing all over the place. And there's 20 people in this gym for the Big 12 tournament. This guy is, getting antsy for machines and all that stuff. And you just kind of have to, when you're in a small hotel gym, even that was a big one, the one at KC Downtown Marriott. But Huggins was clearly annoyed by him. And the guy finally left. And Huggins just turns to me and goes, well, I'm glad that's over.
Yeah.
And then after that, we had a nice little talk as we walked. We got kind of done around the same time and walked down to the elevator. And he's really nice. And then he's great to people. I've seen him he'll go down in a hotel bar and just talk to people randomly. And it's a good old time. And but he during the games and his post game. Yeah, Vital's a heck of a player. We don't have an answer for him.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about it?
He's really good. I think he would have voted for Vital that year. I don't know if he did, about being the player of the year. We discussed that one time. Baylor Bigfoot's mad because we haven't opened up the phone lines. Here's what I'll say about that. We always try to do that. I know we don't do it a lot, but it's not because we don't want to hear from you or there's a text line, there's a YouTube chat. And today, after we went on the air, we've added a couple of guests, even with what we had scheduled. And with Taylor Young and then with Tari Cummings and with Jeremy Hefner, went longer than we normally would because there's so much to tell. So, Bigfoot, sorry about that, and we appreciate your time. The text line's always open, 254-339-1122, and the chat room on YouTube is open all the time as well. And in fact, some of you have responded to quite a what we've had. In fact, DG Taylor will always be a Baylor fan favorite. North Texas got a good one, and from Matt, excited to hear Taylor Young and a lot more as well. Scott said, sometimes the best staffs have former head coaches as assistants. You have someone who was a head coach at Fort Smith Junior College. I kind of like her resume. I don't know much about her.
And
I know what I heard from her.
Hey, it's Grant McCaslin was the head coach. Was a head coach for about a month, and then Scott Drew
won a national championship.
Yeah, and then Scott Drew came and
Satia Messer, former head coach, right? And you're going to have some of those on your staff as well. All right,
but people who leave a head coaching job to come, and then part of it is, look, there's head coaching jobs, there's head coaching jobs.
She's a former player, but she's a junior college head coach at Fort Smith, and she has a chance to be maybe 1A or 2. Like she said, she doesn't care what her title is, and coach at Baylor, one of the elite programs in women's basketball. When we come back, John Machota will discuss the Cowboys, the NFL schedule being released later tonight, including their opening game with Tampa Bay. And then John Daniels of the Rangers. They've lost a couple in a row to San Francisco, like a lot of others have as well. He'll join us at 5:30. And this is SicEm365 Radio.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T as board-certified physician consultations will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 on Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs. Even offering financing if that's needed, everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Hey, we're qualified buyer with 4,000 down at 2.9% TTL extra. CDO for details.
Travel is back, and so are the savings at the Memorial Day Savings Event at Richard Carr. Hit the road in a 2016 Buick Encore for only $152 a month, a 2016 GMC Sierra for only $318 a month, a 2018 Mercedes GLA for $334 a month, or a 2015 GMC Terrain for only $135 a month. 100% credit approval is always our goal. It's a Memorial Day Savings Event going on now at Richard Carr.
At Richard Carr, we give you more.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with John Machota of The Athletic, brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus, and best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects, with 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
Catch is made by Amari Cooper, who broke free inside the 20, stays in bounds, and is wrestled out at the Eagles' 8-yard line.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments, with financial advisor Brad Wilson. Investing is time and experience back to you and your money during today's changing times. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now, here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
Man, I tell you what, the NFL is genius. Every day there's something. They know how to take releasing something as simple as 17 games for all the teams in the NFL and making it almost a 2 or 3 day deal. And today, this morning, some of the games leaked out even yesterday evening. Cowboys open against the defending champion Buccaneers and Tom Brady and company. John Machota, theathletic.com, joins us. All right, was there any doubt that they still have star power and I guess eyeball power and ratings. Your thoughts about opening up with Tampa Bay?
They got to get them on the schedule early. So if things fall apart, the Cowboys are still a draw early in the season, Dak's coming back. He's going to be healthy. They're going to have Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins, Blake Jarwin. These are things that, there's a pretty good chance that you can count on that for week 1. If you put, Buccaneers, Cowboys in week 10, you don't want your Bucs getting flexed out of a major game here when they're going for a playoff spot and the Cowboys only have 3 wins. And we literally, I'm half joking, but we literally saw that last year with the Cowboys having primetime games and getting flexed out of them because they were already out of, well, not the playoff picture because of the division they were in, but for the most part out of anyone really being too interested in watching them play. And so I think it's smart for all the way around. You're going to have tons of eyeballs on this game just because of Tom Brady. Obviously, they're going to be hanging their Super Bowl banner there. Brady's going to get his 7th ring. And then just the fact that the Cowboys, the draw that they bring, and the fact that, they were already on each other's. We already knew which teams they were going to be playing, just about how it was going to break down. So I think this is a huge win-win for the NFL. This is going to be a game where, every NFL fan's going to be watching, whether you're a Cowboys fan or a Buccaneers fan or a fan of another team. So a genius move, I think, by the NFL.
John, it's going to be, a tough debut for the Dan Quinn defense, against an offense that brings back literally everybody from the Super Bowl run. But, I just say it now. Smokey and I talk about this all the time. This is the kind of game, though, that the Cowboys do find a way to, sneak up and win and get everybody insanely excited for what turns out to be no reason.
Yeah, absolutely no question. I agree with you completely on that. I will say Dan Quinn, Mike McCarthy, they'll never admit this, but they did not want to see the Buccaneers week 1 when you're trying to put in and change your defense and move things around. It'd be one thing if even you were playing, let's say, some of those Patriots teams towards the end of Tom Brady's time there where, they were always going to be potent because of Tom Brady, but, the weapons weren't as good as what he stepped into in Tampa Bay. And so with Tom winning a Super Bowl, everybody had so much fun on that team last year. They're running it back and bringing everybody back. That offense now has a full season now under its belt of working well together. And if anything, watching the Buccaneers from, the first half of that season to throughout that second half and then throughout that playoff run, they continue to get better and better. So I doubt that the Cowboys wanted to see them early on. I would think that you'd want to see maybe some division games early on because, like I said, your team's healthy. You want to maybe rack up some of those. And just looking at some of the schedule things that I've seen of what it looks like the Cowboys' schedule is going to end up being, it looks like it's going to be pretty tough down the back end of this thing because it looks like they're going to be playing a lot of these division games on the road in that final month and a half of the season. So they're going to have to get some wins early on, and certainly starting against the Super Bowl champions isn't exactly how you'd want to do that from a Cowboys coaching standpoint.
John, what do you look for normally when a schedule comes out? What are kind of the main things that you like to pick up on initially?
Well, covering the Cowboys, the opener is always a big deal because they're going to put them in some type of a prime time slot. And this one makes a lot of sense just because of the fact that nobody really cares outside of the NFC East to be really watching some opener between Washington and Dallas or Dallas and Philly after just how awful the division was last year. So it makes sense to kind of change this thing up. But I always look for the division games, in particular, like the home road games, how they're going to finish the season because the way the NFL has structured its schedule for a while now, it's you're going to sit there and play several division games late in the year, and that's probably going to decide if you go to the playoffs or not. So I usually look for stuff like that. This year, it looks like they're going to open with their first 2 games on the road, so that immediately jumped out to me because that hasn't happened since 2012. And it makes sense because that second game is supposed to be against the Chargers out in L.A. at SoFi Stadium. Now they opened the season last year at SoFi Stadium against the Rams, but their fans weren't allowed. This is supposed to be the opener for the Chargers. It'll be the opener for that at that stadium, and so that'll be the first time fans are in there. So that makes sense, too, as the Cowboys as a draw. So little things like that I look for. And then, obviously, we knew who was going to be on the schedule. So going into this tonight, obviously, I was immediately looking for, all right, when do they play Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes? Kid from Tyler, Texas, getting to play against the Cowboys for the first time in his career. Obviously, that was going to be one that I looked for. But really, to answer your question, it's the division games. Where do those things come at, and where are they broken down home and away?
John Machota, theathletic.com with SicEm365 Radio. So I saw Bob Stern wrote something in The Athletic about the 2018 draft, and you've done the summaries. You've done this before, not ad nauseum as if it's boring, but he was mentioning Leighton Vander Esch. And, of course, we know now the story, at least for now, the Cowboys will not give him that 5th year. Did he reach the potential? Obviously not from what we saw the rookie year. He was fantastic. But is he now looking back at it? John, was he a good first-round pick?
I don't judge all drafts equally because you have to judge by what players are available.
Sure.
And when I look at what was there when he was on the board, it makes a lot of sense even looking back on it. There just weren't a lot. Because I'm not one of these guys that looks back at a past draft and sits there and goes, oh, you could have got Tom Brady in the 6th. Or, you could have got Antonio Brown here. Like, I try and be realistic about it. Okay, what was the team looking for at that time? What did they need? And what did this particular player bring to the team? And because of that, it's hard for me to really blame them on Leighton Vander Esch for drafting the player. And then his rookie year, the way I saw him play when he stayed healthy for the full season, then I certainly thought it was the right pick. The issue is that there were some injury concerns with him coming out of Boise State, and the fact that he hasn't been able to stay healthy. You can criticize him for that, but how badly that this team has needed to add playmakers on defense, and the playmaker we saw him be as a rookie, and you just thought you could just tell like what the potential was there for him to be, the prototypical linebacker of what you want in today's NFL, playing sideline to sideline, being able to stay on the field all 3 downs. Leighton Vander Esch fit that. So, obviously the jury's still out, and if he can't stay healthy this year, then they probably won't bring him back, and we'll look back at the 2018 draft and say, man, that was a huge swing and miss. But when I look back on it, I just really don't see a lot of other possibilities, because at that time, I remember I was really big, Paul, we've talked about this many a times, on Derwin James. That's who I really wanted them to get.
Yeah.
But even, he was off the board before they picked, and he hasn't been able to stay healthy either. Now the Chargers did extend his 5th year, like most first-round picks they did, but I understand where the Cowboys are coming from. But I personally believe if you tell me Leighton Vander Esch is going to play 17 games or even 15, I think that most Cowboys fans are going to be happy with the production they get from him.
Yeah, I remember thinking about that. I couldn't remember if Derwin James was like the 1 pick before or 2. He was 2 picks before in that draft. It was in Dallas. And to Leighton Vander Esch's credit, John, when he was healthy last year, the Cowboys defense was better. It wasn't fantastic, but they were better when he played. It's just that when he played is going to start coming up, and how much they don't want to get into Sean Lee again is maybe Leighton Vander Esch's problem.
Oh yeah, no, that's a huge part of it. And if Sean Lee would have played for the Cowboys maybe 10 years ago, and there was a little bit of separation between the two careers, I think that might help him a little bit. But the fact that they're bookending each other, then that's just what he's going to be compared to until he is able to stay healthy. But like I said, if he's able to stay healthy, even with how crowded that linebacker room has become, I think he gets on the field and he doesn't come off the field. They'll find a way to it'll be him and Micah Parsons will be the two out there when they go into their nickel defense. They'll find different ways to use Jalen Smith and Jabril Cox and Keanu Neal, even if that means Neal has to play a little bit more strong safety or whatever. These are problems that they hope that they have, is that Leighton Vander Esch is healthy and he can be on the field. Because if he is a playmaker. And, like I said, he's still very young, and he does represent what you want out of a linebacker nowadays, because it's more than just being in the trenches. You got to be able to play sideline to sideline with the way that, teams are getting the ball out on the perimeter. So it's a big if, because here's the other thing that it has to concern you, and much like Sean Lee, is that it's not one thing. It's not like it's just this ankle, or it's just this hamstring, or it's just this knee, or it's just this collarbone. Like, there's just several different things. And because you're coming off of what we saw for Sean Lee for a decade, where you just really didn't know, that's obviously going to be fresh in everyone's mind.
John, JT Barrett being brought in this weekend. I know Davis, another backup quarterback that they're bringing in, Brady Davis from Illinois State. What, Ben DiNucci can't participate, is that correct? And what do you make of just some of the names being brought in? Does it intrigue you in any way, the backup quarterback spot?
The backup quarterback spot intrigues me. None of the names do that I've heard so far. Obviously you hear a workout recently with Jeff Driscoll. I think if Jeff Driscoll was signed by the team, I think he would probably be their backup. But that hasn't happened to this point. And, there's just not a lot of great veterans out there. This might be a long play on backup quarterback. This might not be finalized until right before week 1. But I maintain, I just don't think that their backup quarterback is on the roster right now. I mean, if they had to play tomorrow, it's Garrett Gilbert. I think that's pretty clear, but I just don't think they're done churning that position. I mean, if there was 2 positions I'm keeping my eye on from now until week 1, it's backup quarterback and free safety. I don't think they're done at either one of those positions. Now, when I say that, no one should think that they're going to get some major upgrade at either position. I just don't think they're particularly done at those positions. I don't think that they're going to go out and, all of a sudden Earl Thomas is going to play like he did 4 years ago and they're going to sign him or anything like that. That's going to make this big difference. But if I was going to say, as of right now, and I look at their roster, where are 2 positions where some players could be added, I look at free safety and backup quarterback. I don't think they're done at either one of those spots.
Well, they've done messed up and let Blake Bortles go to the Packers. So what are they going to do now, John?
Well, that is a good point. I did just see that, and it's funny that you say that because as you say that, I'm literally looking through my phone because I did a screen grab the other day when I was watching SportsCenter, and I don't remember who they were talking about, but they were talking about one of the backups in the NFL right now, and so they had a list, and so I did a screen grab. I'm like, this might come in handy here, and so the names on there were Matt Barkley, Jeff Driscoll, Robert Griffin, Brian Hoyer, Nick Mullins, and Brett Hundley. None of those are going to be ones that necessarily wow you. I know you guys have talked about, Robert Griffin before. That's an interesting name because obviously his local ties. Brett Hundley is a guy that, Mike McCarthy drafted when he was in Green Bay. And like you just say, Bortles gone. I mean, none of those names are ones that are necessarily make you think, oh, Dak goes down, this guy's got it, and they'll be fine. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see another one of those names possibly come in for a workout.
Yeah, that's not a wow list. We discussed that because we had Robert on last Friday with his mother on leading up to Mother's Day. Craig, anything else for John?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. All right. So, John, they release everything else. What? Okay, so we know Tampa Bay, the Raiders on Thanksgiving, correct? And then you know who they're going to play. Do you know any other games as far as off the top of your head that's been leaked out?
So it sounds like they're going to finish the season at Philly. So, when I look at the way that their schedule is, I kind of look at it as the type of thing where you kind of would hope that I think Philly will be the weakest team in the division. That maybe that last game in the year is a lot like this year was, where they're resting some of their players because they're more about playing for a higher draft pick than they are about playing for a playoff spot, And so it looks like they're going to be playing several of these road games. The schedule that I got leaked to me that I can't say it's 100% accurate yet. It appears to be to me. Just because everything seems to match up. But if this one is correct, it appears that the Cowboys will be playing the Giants, Washington, and the Eagles all on the road, all in the last month of the year.
Wow.
So if that ends up being that way, that's going to be pretty wild because that's going to decide your division. And what's important about that, particularly with Washington, because I think it comes down to Dallas and Washington, is you want to play Washington as soon as possible because you want Tyron Smith out there. You want Lyle Collins. You want Zach Martin out there because we saw last year when that Washington team that nobody was really that impressed by. I know they go to the playoffs and they hung in with the Bucs for a little bit. I mean, it's a 7-win team that wins just an awful division. But when you didn't have in those games those 3 offensive linemen out there, that's how a Washington team that can't really score points outscores the Cowboys 66-19, I believe it was, in those 2 games combined. If you're going to be facing Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and those guys, you would like Lyle Collins and Tyron Smith to be out there. So the longer you go into the season, the more chances are that, a guy gets an injury and he might not be available. So that's a thing to keep an eye on. But yeah, it looks like they're going to be playing Washington a couple times within probably a 2-3 week span. towards the end of the season.
So if they have those games on the road to close it out, that means they can get off to a jump off to a good start with the home games. Although Dallas at home is not always a given. So, all right, John, thank you. John Machota, theathletic.com, with us on Wednesdays at 5. We'll have John Daniels, Rangers general manager, but now president of baseball operations. Chris Young has that job. There's a note about Tari Cummings. Her daughter, Taya Douglas, played at Ole Miss last year. Okay. I have no idea if guard, any good, whatever, but that's interesting. It's an interesting note that was on the site. I'll tell you that those guys and girls, women and men on the message board. Craig, I don't know how often you dig into some of those threads, or Paul, I know you don't, but it's amazing. There's not much that gets by them, the kind of information that they have. I didn't know that, so.
No, it's slightly annoying though, and I'm not encouraging them to stop doing this. But like, for example, this was actually Brian that did this. But sometimes oftentimes I'll go to post something and it's already there. Like, it's happened probably 10 times in the last month of, I see a story and I go to put it on the board and it's been up for like 3 minutes. So. It's kind of annoying in that way because it's taken away from me, like going, hey, I did something or I posted something. But that's a great problem to have, that so many people are scouring the news headlines and are putting that information out there as quickly as possible, no matter where it's coming from. So yeah, definitely appreciate all the posters on the premium board and encourage anybody that's not a member to become a member and be part of that community.
Yep, no question. Taya Douglas, by the way, she is from Fort Smith, Arkansas, played at Trinity Valley in Athens, which is a high-level junior college team as well. High point game of 8, played 35 minutes a couple of times. There was a time in the middle of the year she played a lot of minutes. Has not scored much, but who knows? Not sure who else was in front of her because I didn't follow all of the SEC like Paul did in women's basketball. When we come back, Rangers president of baseball operations and a couple other notes. We'll look at the baseball standings, as there's also a story involving the Yankees and COVID, and it's not good. Next on SicEm365 Radio. Alan Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, talked to Ted Teague a couple of different times recently, Talia and others. They're part of our Academic All-Stars team that will be announced and also then honored next Wednesday at the Baylor Club. They have their Ram Spotlight sales event going on right now. 3-peat Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Back-to-back top safety pick as well for trucks in 2021. Right now, the 2021 new Ram 1500 Crew Cab Lone Star, values of $6,750, 0% for 72 months. Let's pick out the Chrysler deal. 2021 Pacifica Hybrid Limited, a total of $6,000, value 72 months, 0% financing. And then featuring the new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo, up to $3,750 in values, 0% financing for 72 months. So that's just some of what is going on right now at Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. I told you the other day, Baylor star, one of the favorite players ever, Mark Vidal, went by the dealership, was taking some pictures, said hi to AJ and Ted and others as well. Always great to know that the relationships are there. And oh, by the way, AJ's the one that sold me a car about a year ago when I needed, finally, after 377 miles of trying to keep the Tahoe alive, we got the Ford Explorer. It's amazing. Used pre-owned car, and it's been amazing for a year. Alan Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Loop 340 east of 84 in Waco.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Don's Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Shumanor in the Townwood Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobbettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasonings, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trust the doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Have you downloaded the SicEm365 Radio app? Do it today on the App Store and Google Play.
All right, baseball standings. John Daniels, Rangers president of baseball operations, will join us. I every once in a while, I'm just kind of trying to nuke a minute or two while I'm at a stoplight or two. Red Sox, Paul, from start to finish, 2 games up on the Yankees, but the Yankees have 7 positive tests among their coaching and support staff, according to Aaron Boone.
Yes, and they all had the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Only Phil Nevin had symptoms, and he's better already. So,
okay, hold on. So they had the vaccine, and they still got COVID.
Yeah, that's happened. And with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, there are, and this for, I guess, the Yankees is more, but the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, 60 million people have gotten it, and about 10,000 or so have gotten sick. But, I mean, they just test positive for COVID, most of them asymptomatic or very mild symptoms. But before you shake your head, that's how vaccines work for almost everything except for like smallpox or something.
Well, but smallpox.
But for viruses like COVID and the flu.
What about the other one? What about the Pfizer shot?
Pfizer, I mean, so far so good. I can tell you I got it. You know, that's fine.
The double whammy, right? That's the one where you get it in the
Pfizer
second.
and Moderna have 2.
That's the first one's okay. The second one kills you, right? Is that the
for a day maybe? But nothing happened to me. So
all right.
But I mean, yeah, get your shots. Don't let the Yankees scare you off.
Yeah, Craig.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm having a quarantine right now, and I've already had it. And people may be wondering why I'm sitting at home and not the studio. It's because this past weekend, in a very, very, very small group, still managed to have like one of the 3 people I was around the entire time popped for it as the weekend was wrapping up. And then subsequently, the 2 of the 3 other people popped for it as well. I'm feeling fine. I just had it, so I'm not that worried about it. But I was going to get my vaccine this week, and now I'm for sure going to get it because I'm just tired of dealing with this. I'm tired of being at home and tired of having to still worry about, the virus and being around people and doing all that. So I'm getting it. I don't know what version and all that. Nothing's perfect. It's not going to be perfect, especially when it's happened so quickly, but I'm not scared of it. I'd rather, whatever side effect that people we don't even know, the side effects, people just assume that everybody's going to have them. We have no idea. I'm willing to risk it just to not have to sit in my house anymore. So that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, that Yankee story is bizarre. Like I said, not everything's going to be perfect, but, at least they were able to catch it and maybe that'll allow them to figure some things out about what went wrong exactly. So I'm looking forward to getting it and hopefully not having to sit at home in the near future for much longer.
Yeah, I'm personally a fan of the Pfizer and Moderna. It's shown to be, at least empirically, that works better. So yeah. Johnson & Johnson's had all kind of problems, so...
Yeah, like I said, I've already had it. I feel like I'm fine, but I was just very close contact with people who just got it. So I'm just being precautionary. But I'm whatever side effects there are. But I'd rather take it and just not have to worry about it than constantly having to be monitoring every little thing all the time. So yeah. That's my way of thinking, at least.
That's why Craig's on Skype. Has been on Skype the last couple of days, and might be for another couple of days as well. Craig, did you go get tested by any chance? You thought you might do that? You going to get tested?
No, I was going to get tested if I was showing major signs, but like I said, it's just more of a precautionary thing. Talked to a doctor, said. Even, if I had it recently, just being as in close contact as I was with 2 people in particular, that just smart to wait about a week to see if any symptoms showed up or whatever. So that's what I'm doing. Just going by what the doctor said. And, as of right now, everything's perfectly fine.
I knew him when he was young in the business, and he's now the president of baseball operations with the Rangers. John Daniels, a friend of the show, joins us on SicEm365 Radio. JD, I haven't talked to you in a while. Last year seemed like a blur. I guess I'll start with that. Was last year kind of a blur for even you and baseball in general?
Yeah, for a lot of reasons. It was obviously the year was crazy with everything going on in the world. And then the 60 games season was crazy. Obviously, we didn't play well, so that didn't help. We probably wanted to forget some of it, but this year's been fun as far as just a little bit of a reminder, kind of why we all do it, and really enjoying the game, and it helps that we've played better baseball as well.
Well, I got to tell you, and I told John Blake this. I watched that game Saturday night, and not just that one game, but I've watched enough. And I think last year for me, watching baseball sometimes was background music. I had games on, but it was hard because things were so sporadic or erratic, whatever. JD, you've got a fun team. I don't know how long they'll be able to tread water. I don't know what's going to be the outcome, neither do you. But you've got a team that seems to play their you-know-what's off. Is that what you see as well?
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of guys that are enjoying being together. I think they've got something to prove individually and also as a team. I think Woody and the coaching staff done a great job. Part of the reason that we've played better is we've worked hard. These guys have worked hard. Each of them has gotten a little bit better individually. We're out early every day. They're getting after it. They're taking pride in it, and then you see it on the field. It's a fun group. There are days that matchups that we're going to get, out talented a little bit, just as far as where we are in our roster construction. But the effort level, the desire, the way we play, our pitchers are attacking the strike zone, or we're in every game. Our guys are they don't get down if we're down a run or two. Come back. We typically bring the tying run to the plate, whether we get it done or not. We'll see. But it's a fun group to watch, and I think what you just touched on with Saturday night was kind of maybe the most fun game so far. But I think the fans are really enjoying it.
How hard was it to assess a team on only 60 games last year and not fall into a rabbit hole of, well, this is what we are, because you played barely more than a third of what you would normally do?
Yeah, I think on more on an individual level, I think it's hard to really evaluate some of the players individually because one is just not fair. I mean, 60 games is like just like a slow start or a hot start. Could cut either way. But listen, how many of us were at our best last year? I mean, last year was tough, man. I mean, think about what we went through as a society, not just in baseball, but with the pandemic and the politics and social justice topics. And I mean, it was a lot. The economy, the people losing their jobs, sick. I mean, it was a lot. And so, the players are no different. They dealt with all the same things, all the same pressures on a bigger stage. Some guys were fortunate, were able to train on their own in a good way and come back into camp and be ready to go. Some guys weren't. They were behind and they never got it back. So I think on an individual level, it was not fair to really evaluate it. I think on a team level, I mean, listen, it wasn't hard to look at it where we were at. We knew going into last year it was going to be a little bit of a stretch, but then it was clear, like we weren't playing the game the way that we needed to. And so, we went into the off season and say, listen, we're going to clean some things up. We're going to focus on getting some guys in here with something to prove, to play with some energy. And at a bare minimum, like we're going to throw strikes and we're going to catch the ball and play clean baseball and go from there.
John, what's it been like to see the rise in the past month of the way Adolis Garcia has played? I think tomorrow will actually be a month since he was officially put on the active roster. What's it been like to see his play so far?
It's been fun, man. It's been fun. He's just a fun player. He's a fun guy. Like he plays with passion. He loves the game. He exudes energy and huge smile on his face at all times. I think he's a guy that's genuinely grateful for the opportunity to play the game at this level, and it shows. He was kind of overlooked as far as the industry goes on a few different levels, right? I mean, he comes out of Cuba, wasn't super highly regarded, goes to Japan, then ultimately gets an opportunity with the Cardinals. They take him off the 40-man after not really getting an opportunity. We got him for kind of a cheap deal. And then, to be fair, we didn't give him an opportunity last year and on an extended look. And, we took him off the roster. And he never got down. He kept working. He was probably our best player in spring training. Didn't make the club, but was the first guy we went to. And he just everything he does, he's one of these players you can't stop watching on the field.
It seems like to me that baseball, and I'm not trying to say these are all stars. We know Tatis and Paul Atlanta, the
Acuna.
Yeah. Acuna, and then, of course, Soto. There's a lot of great young players. Of course, Trout's now a veteran. But it seems like to me, and correct me if I'm wrong because you're around it every single day, there seems to be an infusion of youth and energy that not saying all great players, but an infusion of youth and energy that I don't remember all combining at one time. Would you agree with that?
I would. These, they're talented, and it's not just talented; they're skilled too. You watch the at bats some of these guys take, and they don't chase. And Juan Soto, the at bats this guy takes at 21, 22 years old on the biggest stage, 2 years ago in the World Series, and he just the confidence that he has when he goes out there, and they're a lot of fun to watch, man. I'm excited about this next generation of players. It's gonna be great for the game.
This is the first, maybe full week that you guys have had everybody you kind of wanted to have in your starting nine, at least in the field. I know that pitching wise, there's still some guys you don't have, but where you are right now with the roster you thought you had, you feel pretty comfortable moving forward. If these guys can stay healthy, you can keep at this pace.
I think so. I mean, I think from a position player club, we feel like we've gotten to a point where 1 through 9 you're gonna get a quality at bat. There's some areas that we can clean up for sure. We've definitely chased a little bit. We've been exposed here the last couple of days on some guys with good change ups and really defensively, I don't think we've played our best here the last week. We can be better in that area. Left field kind of stands out as an area we could probably continue to get better at defensively. But you look around the diamond, Nate Lowe's is in his first full year, Solak second year, Kiner really first year as an everyday shortstop. The two catchers are kind of in their second year. Adolis, his first look. Willie Calhoun, probably his second full season. I mean, it's a lot of guys that are just kind of figuring themselves out, and that's kind of the fun part, I think, for our fans, is that there's a feeling that not only are they had some good moments, but that they're young, they're getting better, they're playing together, and that they have a chance to be here for a while.
Dane Dunning has been a nice start for a young player for you. Well, on the mound, and just 26. So what do you think his ceiling is?
Big time competitor. That's just kind of coming into his own. I think he has some unique pitches with the way his sinker works that hitters just don't get a good look at it. So I think it plays even above the velocity there. Really good slider, gets a lot of swing and miss on, and a changeup that's gotten better. So I don't want to put any limits on him. I mean, I think he's already pitching like a solid middle of the order quality starter, but I think he's a big time competitor that just knows how to pitch and utilize his stuff, and kind of see where he ultimately takes it.
There's a couple of months 2.5 months until the end of July. But John, I think it's a fair question that you have this team that's a mixture of guys like Kyle Gibson and what he's done. We just mentioned as well the young player that you brought up, Aldonis. But you're a team that's still kind of not real sure where you are. Are you, when players are playing well, how do you, as a fan, if a baseball fan, a Rangers fan gets kind of attached to somebody, what can you say about, are they players are your future, or are they players to help build your future with trades?
It's a great question. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have to answer it just yet.
Yeah.
We've got some time to evaluate. And I think for the most part, a lot of the guys I ran through that are going to be here for a period of time are guys that we want to build around and want to be here. You're always going to look for stars. You're always going to look to, you can elevate the top of the roster. I think that's something we're going to have to do. But that's been our goal. That's what we're trying to put together, is a group of guys that are in their 20s that can play together, stay together, and grow together. Will we trade some guys in July? We're not necessarily looking to tear it down, but if there are guys that make more sense elsewhere and they're willing to give us the pieces that we need, we're gonna look at that. But we're not approaching the deadline as though there's anybody we have to move.
Free agency has changed so much over the last few years, and JD, when you first got into this, free agency was the first week was a free for all. I mean, everybody was just going nuts. Now it's clearly changed for many different reasons. How does that change the way that you approach year to year, whether you guys will get aggressive in free agency or, wait to see when the dust settles?
I think we'll take it on an individual basis, player by player. I mean, I think, hopefully this off season, the league and the players come to an early agreement in terms of, CBA. So, we have waiver situation. We know what the system looks like. And I think that'll probably dictate, somewhat of how free agency goes, or at least will for us a little bit, understanding what the system is going to be. I think we're at a point where we've got some flexibility. We don't have a lot of financial obligations beyond this year. And so, with the new ballpark, especially, we should be in a position where, if there's the right fit out there in free agency, we can engage with it.
It's interesting because you got the new stadium, and that sucked last year that it opens up when, of course, you have to battle with COVID, but then they get to host all the great things in the postseason. When you look at, I thought the ballpark in Arlington, and I know it's Globe Life Field, whatever, it was amazing. But you have this place, and I haven't been to it yet, but I'm going to be there. What about it, John, as far as how much that is? How much does that infuse money, even with attendance being what it is? And you guys lead the league in attendance because you've opened up. How good of a ballpark is it?
Well, the best way to put it is, if you get a chance to ask any players, our own or our visiting players, I mean, the returns that we've got on it, what guys have said have just been outstanding. I mean, the visiting teams that come through here, they all rave about it. The amenities, the clubhouse, the field. It's interesting. We're playing on a turf field, and nobody even talks about it because the turf is playing so well. And I don't think guys don't even really notice anything relative to the grass or turf. It feels so good under the foot. But it's obviously beautiful with all the amenities for the fans. I'm excited about the word to continue to get around the league and free agents ultimately hear about it, because I think it just adds to why this will be a great place for players to come play.
Craig, you have one more for JD, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, JD, I was just curious, your thoughts. Baseball's tried to, with their rules in some cases, be flexible, be kind of cutting edge to try and, spark interest in baseball or keep the game interesting. Just what have you thought, about baseball's efforts to try and kind of spice up the game? And where do you feel like the game of baseball is currently in the grand scheme of things, the trajectory?
Yeah, so I'll say this, I am generally of the mindset that, we have a great game, we have a great product, but there have been some major changes in the game, the way it's played, unintentionally affecting the way it's played, that, I don't think is necessarily makes for the best version of the game that we have. So I'm glad we're exploring some of these things. I don't think we're going to do anything that's crazy or dramatic to the game. But most of these things are being tested in the minor leagues, so we have a better understanding how they actually affect play. They're all intended to, create more action on the field, more balls in play, more base running opportunities, more stolen bases, more extra base hits. Where we've gone with training athletes, the pitching is so good that, there are just so many strikeouts in the game. We're at an all-time high in strikeouts, an all-time low in hits, an all-time high in walk. And I think it's fair to question is that what we want for the game? Is that what our fans want? Mm-hmm. And every other sport has introduced over the course of time. The NBA, obviously, the 3-point line, and then when they changed the zone defense rules, wasn't allowed for a long time. And NHL makes changes. The NFL has done a lot of smart things to protect the quarterback, and then you've got Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and these guys doing crazy things at a little more advanced stages. You've got these great offenses that these guys can run. It's a better game, and I think baseball is just looking at some of the same things. And so I'm glad we're looking at it. I think it makes sense to test these things in the minor leagues. We have a unique situation where we can really get our arms around it and understand what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And as an industry, I'm sure we'll make good decisions and implement some things that'll make the game a better product for the fans.
JD, last thing, and your title has changed, and obviously it's a different title when you say president of baseball operations. We know your role for the longest of times. How much has it changed? What do you do?
So Chris Young joined us this offseason, general manager. Known CY for a long time. We're very close. Very bright guy, played for a long time in the big leagues, local guy, Texas background. So, a lot of things we work on together along with the other, guys in the front office in our group. But what it has allowed also to do is divide and conquer, and so he's able to spend some more time in certain areas. I probably spent a little less time on the minor league side here recently. And it allows me to focus in certain areas more. But the industry and our operation has grown so much in the last 10, 15 years that the job is just it's large. It's a huge operation. It's not a small group anymore. We have 250 baseball ops employees, and I think it was time. It was time to bring in somebody with some new ideas and somebody to help just manage the whole thing.
JD, thank you all as always. You've always been great to come on. Appreciate your time. Good luck with this. What I think is an exciting team to watch with so many personalities and different type of players from different backgrounds. Thanks for your time.
All right, Smokey. Thank you both.
John Daniels, Rangers president of baseball operations. Intern Patrick sent me a text. Would you please ask him if he'll mentor me? That's my dream job.
Look, we can tell Patrick that I campaigned a few years ago. We were at the ballpark in Arlington, or Globe Life Park, what it was, but we were there, and he was up in the booth with us, and I said, look, I don't want to be the one who, I'm not going to tell you who to trade for, but I would like to, you just give me a couple, small little trades that you would say, it's either this one or this one. We don't care which one you do. Just pick one. And I'd like to do that. He said, absolutely not.
No,
absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, well, it was their 9 starters for Mookie Betts, and that just wouldn't have made sense for anybody.
Yeah, the Dodgers are 19-17 with old Mookie. Red Sox are 22-15.
Doesn't mean I don't miss him every single day, but yes. They actually their worst position is in the outfield, other than Alex Verdugo.
Well, if they had Mookie, they'd be 23-14, not 22-15. He's a game.
They play the A's.
Yeah. What's his WAR?
Mookie's
WAR.
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Isn't that the one of wins
above replacement?
I bet his is would be pretty high.
I would think that the guy who comes in to spell Mookie Betts is not as good.
All right. No, he's not. We have another break to take. Is that right, Paul? Before the 5 at 5:55. Right now, the Cardinals and the Giants with the best record in baseball. White Sox and A's. Here's Oakland looking at possibly moving. Red Sox right in that mix as well. Astros right now are 19-17. Rangers were 500, and then they lost a couple of games to one of the best teams right now in baseball, the Giants. When we come back, Paul's 5 at 5:55. SicEm365 Radio.
Richard Carr, Buick GMC Cadillac. Right now, travel is back, and so are the savings at the Memorial Day savings event at Richard Carr Motors. Get back on the road with the sophistication and luxury of Buick. Richard Carr is loaded with Buick SUVs, all priced to move. You can save $5,900 on a 2021 Buick Encore or $4,500 on an Encore GX. You can save $3,900 on a midsize Buick Envision. Also got space, luxury, affordability. The Buick Enclave is the perfect family travel vehicle. 3 rows of first-class seating, a smooth, quiet ride. Right now, you can save $8,500 on all 2021 Buick Enclaves in stock. And Richard Carr is also loaded with premium pre-owned cars and trucks. All pre-owned cars and trucks are priced to move during the Memorial Day savings event, with multiple cars priced under $200 a month for qualified buyers. Richard Carr Motors is your local family dealer. They take pride in serving their neighbors, and they want to earn your business with great prices, free oil changes, and superior service after the sale. So come by their clean and disinfected showroom to take a test drive, or let them bring the test drive to you. It's the Memorial Day savings event. Take advantage of all these deals and discounts right now, going on all month at Richard Carr.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com. From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like First Free Checking, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio Live Guest VIP Hotline is sponsored by Stonewood Dental. We are all in this together.
Is this your turn here?
Yeah, I just got to wait for my open to play. There we go.
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55.
All right. In honor of John Daniels being on the show today, Top 5 Ranger Surprises. Of course, we're brought to you by Slapsticks Comedy Club. Follow Slapsticks on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram for all the upcoming events. May 29th, we're doing an improv show at Rogue Media Network before the actual Slapsticks open, so keep track of that. We'll be doing more events around town until the club opens, and we'll be doing a lot of comedy there. So Slapsticks, bring the funny back to Waco. Number 5, Ian Kennedy at closer. Really's been pretty solid. Hasn't blown a lot of saves.
Didn't they lose like most of their bullpen?
Yeah,
early?
I know. Yeah, and so like they thought that Matt Bush or Ian Kennedy was going to be the closer. But again, if I had told you Ian Kennedy was going to be the closer, are you thinking it's Trevor Hoffman running out of there? No. And so he's been good. And again, nothing's been. Some of these are bad. Some of these are bad surprises, like this one. Joey Gallo.
Where's Ian Kennedy from? You know anything about his history?
He was with Kansas City before.
Okay.
So,
right.
And number 4, Joey Gallo's dip in production. The last couple of years of Joey Gallo, it looked like he learned how to do something other than strike out and hit home runs. And right now, Craig said it. You said it the other day. Joey Gallo stunk this year.
Yeah, he's not good. I don't care about his home runs. I don't care that he can hit the ball far away. That he's one-dimensional. And I don't have an appreciation for that. It'd be one thing if he could, be a bit more well-rounded. But golly, how much has he really improved over the last 3 to 4 years?
I thought he had finally turned that corner, but he really had. He turned it and then he went back around. So. Yeah,
so just it is what it is. But maybe he'll turn that corner again and stay on that path. We'll see.
Yeah, back on the good side, the top of the order has been really good. Kiner Falefa, Nate Lowe, Nick Solak, all been really good. All getting on base and creating opportunities. And for the last month, for this guy, Adolis Garcia, who we just talked about, that's been the absolute most pleasant surprise of all. And John Daniels just talked about him, was someone who wasn't given a lot of chances, including by the Rangers, until he just made them have to.
He looks like a hell of an athlete, too, and looks like he can play with, what is it, Jeff Grimes has that, is it controlled violence is what they want? He kind of plays baseball that way.
Yeah.
And at times he's a little bit of a mess. But don't you guys agree the younger players today, they are not afraid to to showboat.
No.
Well, some of the pitchers aren't afraid. It's changed. There's a lot of them.
It's a new generation, and to me, I don't mind. I don't mind it because I didn't like some of these unwritten rules of baseball anyway because they're kind of silly. What I did mind when Jose Bautista was doing it was he would do it, and then he would get mad when someone else would do it. Well, no, like, dude, if you're going to do it, they can too. It's fine. You're all in the same space. You're not better than anyone else. That's why everybody loved when he got punched in the face.
Yep.
All right, number one, Kyle Gibson's dominance at times. I mean, he's been very dominant on the mound at times, save for that first start. And the reason this is a pleasant surprise is, look, this team is probably
not under 500 pitcher when he arrived with the Rangers, I think, wasn't
he? But they might be able to turn this, because he's not going to be there long anyway. He's 33. They might be able to turn this into some really good prospects. And I think Kyle Gibson, to me, unless this team gets really better in a short amount of time, trading deadline, he's gone.
That's who I was discussing, without saying his name, when I asked John Daniels that question.
You trade Kyle Gibson. I mean, that's who you're going to trade. It's Kyle Gibson.
Craig, have you watched him much?
I've watched him, a little bit here and there. Yeah, I'm not watching every night. No,
I'm not either. But I just happened to get sucked into that game Saturday. It was amazing. Kind of reminded me of that fun time. But they're okay. I mean, and you know what? They lost to the Giants, and both games were very competitive. So, that's all I ask. I don't want to see a lot of 11-10 losses. I want to see 3-1 losses. I don't want to see losses, but I don't expect them to be a 500 team. So glad that it worked out. All right, Paul. Everything else?
Yeah, that's it.
Very nice. Very well done by Mr. McKenzie. Armstrong's off today, not here. Emma and Hayden are here. And we've got a cast of 314 interns right now.
Yeah.
It seems like more than ever. We even got one, Patrick, who just kind of texted me in the middle of John Daniels'
Well, he hasn't been an intern with us for a long time.
Emma's maybe said 6 words since she walked in the door 2 or 3 days ago.
She's observing.
She is bored out of her mind, but she's doing a good job with the audio. Hayden, otherwise, he hadn't said 1 word.
Hayden's been doing yeoman's work over there.
Went to Flower Mound High School. Emma, where are you from, by the way? I don't even know.
From Riverside, California.
That's right. She's a California girl, and then Hayden's from Flower Mound High School.
And they've both been very helpful today.
Yeah, well.
So don't be too mean to them, Smoky.
No, I'm actually.
Just keep being mean to me.
I'm bringing them up. I thought that was a good thing. Yeah. Now, we might bring them up with bad things eventually, too, because that's how we roll. But Jack McKenzie with an MAC. See, you didn't think I remembered that. Has run the mothership on both shows today. All right, for everyone we've had I mentioned the interns, Hayden and Emma, and Jack, of course. Armstrong is hopefully get better. Craig, Paul, Colt Barber, Taylor Young, Jeremy Hefner, Tari Cummings, the new assistant coach with Nikki Collins, John Machota, John Daniels. Thank you for listening, for watching on SicEm365 Radio. Good night.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been proudly serving Texans across the state for over 60 years. Call 254-772-8090 to find an agent who will provide a free review of your auto, home, and life coverage.